All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. We are live. It is Tuesday, April 14th. You know, one of the joys that I have in my life, it's always the little things. One of the joys in my life is when I'm about to press go live and it's 3:45 going into 3:46 and the comments that are trying to find why I'm late. Someone said today he's trying to still find the Strait of Hormuz on the map. Like, those are the joys of my life, being able to see those comments, and it incentivizes me to be late every day to get more of those comments so I can laugh, because you have to laugh in life, right? So it's really your fault for why I'm late. S&P is having an amazing day. The broader stock market is having a crazy day. 694 we hit on the S&P. I mean, folks, we are less than 0.5% away, less than 0.5% of 0.5% away from hitting all-time highs. Another 1% day on the S&P 500. This is a 10-day rally, the best since November of 2023. And it's pretty incredible to see it happening. NBIS, we hit 165, right now at 162. I don't think people are going to be too upset if we close at 162 up 5%. IREN, 47 bucks. That's up 10% on the day. Oracle got from 170 to around 162. Still a big day, up 4%. Bloom Energy, I think this is getting squeezed right now. They have a 10% short float, up 22%. Massive deal with Oracle yesterday. I think a squeeze is happening on Bloom. It seems kind of obvious, right there. 217. If you've got this one, congrats. Just been a massive day across the board. AMD, I didn't even see that it hit above 250, but there you go. 255. That's up 3%. Reddit, 155. Disney's up 1.3. Palantir's at 135. Netflix, 106. They have earnings this week. That's up 3%. CRDO, which got hit a little bit in the morning, that's recovering. That's up 18%. Micron, 460. Up 7%. Robinhood, a great day, up 10%. CoreWeave, 118, up 7%. I mean, across the board, wherever you look, except one sector that we'll talk about in a second, we are seeing a massive level of momentum. And obviously that's very exciting as well. The quantum names also got the pump from Jensen as he talked more about the applications of quantum GPUs. You got D-Wave right there up 15%. And then you have IONQ that got a DARPA contract. That stock up 20% on the day. So it's been an incredible day. Meta 661, Tesla 365, Amazon broke above 250, which was very nice. 252. It's likely going to close just under 250. Maybe we get the 250 close, 249.28. I think a lot of people are long Amazon. It has been a long time coming for this one. At the end of the day, it's freaking Amazon, and it, just hasn't performed. And there you go. You're getting a real proper breakout today, up 4%. So what ended up going red in the middle of the day, outside of ASTS, which got hit by the GSAT acquisition by what's that company? Amazon. Talk about Amazon. But Amazon that did that. I don't think it deserves to be down 10% right here based on how they've based on how they've engaged with other acquisitions. In fact, there was a picture of the ASTS founder with Bezos today. It looks like they're going to be working with these guys more than they're going to be working against them. So felt a bit aggressive right here. But there are sectors that ended up getting hit pretty hard today, and we're going to talk about why. Real quick on ASTS. GSAT, by the way, only up 9%, so the market still doesn't fully believe that this is priced in, this $90 acquisition. I will have Anna Panaman on the show tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. So Space Mob, I'm sure one of you guys heard me talk about him this morning. You messaged him, he messaged me, and we're making it happen. So we've got Anna Panaman on the show tomorrow. If you're interested in ASTS, it's been about a year since I've talked to him. Very excited to talk to him again, get his thoughts on this Global Star acquisition, all that stuff, and then what's going on with space in general. So we'll be live 5 p.m. tomorrow on the market close. Okay, what went red? Software. Software went red, and it's really annoying that software went red. Now, Palantir is one of the software names that did not go red. So again, the market giving some of those names still the premium that they deserve. But as you can see right here, CrowdStrike, Zscaler, Intuit, Twilio, Net, ServiceNow, Adobe, MongoDB, Atlassian, Salesforce, Snowflake, all of them red. Really, Palantir and Oracle were the only ones that were able to hold on their momentum, which kind of shows you how the market's interpreting them. Why did the software names go red? I cannot make this up. Like, I literally can't make it up. But it's true. Claude is coming out with a new model called Opus 4.7. And what's the craziest thing about this is the headline on this model. The headline on this model right here is that it's creating a new AI design tool, which is obviously very bad for Adobe in the design space and Figma in the design space. But Adobe and Figma weren't going to be the only victims of Anthropic. It's like the algos heard, oh, new model, Anthropic, upgrade, boom, all of SaaS has to take a hit. So that's why you're seeing the majority of SaaS get hit, which was annoying, Palantir, Oracle being the only ones that kind of held up in the green. But it is what it is. Even with a massive bull market today, Anthropic continues to show their power over the market. If it's anything like it was on Friday, it'll be about the dip, but nonetheless, that's what we're seeing. Ethereum right there, 2,300. Bitcoin right there, 74,000. Guys, does BMNR have earnings today? Because no one's been able to give me an answer on if they have earnings today. 2127. Can someone confirm they have earnings? And are they doing like some massive earnings presentation or something like that? I know last time Tom had like a different presentation. If they do, we'll cover it. We're going to have Technical Tuesday with Jason in a bit. So we're not going to listen to the whole thing, but we will definitely go over the results. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so then at 4 p.m., I imagine we will get those results. Again, I don't think, just like MicroStrategy, I don't think the results matter that much. I mean, you want updates, but at the end of the day, the price of Ethereum kind of dictates what happens with these digital asset treasury companies. So not sure if we're going to get too much movement on that. IREN, that's up 9%. Oracle up 4.3%, and then Nebius up 5%. So outside of the software sell-off, which is annoying, you are seeing some momentum in the context of the broader market, and it's very nice to see. Now, crude, 91.74. Folks, we did not get to this level until last week. We spiked from 117 to 91 after the ceasefire was announced. Then we had no deal. Then we spiked up to 90, or we spiked up to 107. We're back to 91. So it is very, very nice to see that crude is actually coming down. It's obviously good for the market. The VIX right here, at one point, it was down 7% on the day. I think the software sell-off got it going up a little bit more. Yeah, VIX is only down 3.45%. So the VIX was down worse than what it is right now, as some of these stocks ends up getting hit. But overall, not bad. It's not something we can necessarily complain about. Now, why are we getting such a big pump? Well, the real update, if you were with me on the market open, was that Trump called a reporter in Pakistan and told them, stay there. Quote, you should stay there really because something could be happening over the next 2 days and we're more inclined to go there. It's more likely. You know why? Because the field marshal is doing a great job. When he means we're more likely to go there over the next 2 days, it is because we are likely starting round 2 of negotiations. And the market's basically like, okay, if we're doing round 2, if we're going for it again, and JD Vance kind of confirmed last night that, you know, negotiations weren't as bad as what people thought, then there is a shot for us to have some momentum for this deal to happen, and that's why the markets are pricing that in. Now, on top of that, you had a headline by the Wall Street Journal. They interviewed Trump and they asked him some questions, and he said he doesn't like the 20-year enrichment suspension offer, but he's not ruling it out. So remember, the Iranians yesterday said 5 years, JD said 20. They couldn't get to an agreement, but it was leaked that there actually was some level of dialogue, which was bullish for the markets. The Wall Street Journal said, hey, do you like 20 years? And Trump said, no, I would rather have like a lot more than 20 years, but I'm not ruling out the possibility. Iran has said they would only agree to much shorter term. So Iran still wants only 5. Trump probably doesn't think he's going to get a lot more than 20. But the point is, he's not, quote, ruling it out. And if he's not ruling it out, then maybe that 20 turns into 10, which means you give up a little bit. And for the Iranians, that 5 turns into 10, which means they give up a little bit. That's kind of what happens in a negotiation. And you come to an agreement. And if that does happen, maybe the broader market gets some level of excitement right here. Fastly's down 50%. Again, I have not taken a position in this thing. I quite frankly don't know much about it outside of some surface level stuff that I looked at over the weekend. So I'm actually excited that it's down 15%. And this weekend I'll get to go a little bit more deeper into why it's down, but I don't know why. I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I've been tracking a lot of things today. I have no idea why this one got hit. I guess it's getting sold off with the software names, but this one was getting sold off before the software names were getting sold off. The only things that really survived today in software were PLTR and Oracle, which goes to show the resiliency of those names. But in general, it seems like a lot of these names got hit pretty hard. NVIDIA, 196, which was very nice to see. I don't know what caused that rebound in the past 20 minutes, but you got something to go from 193 to 196, up 3.5%. I mean, you're seeing a lot of these names, whether they're in photonics, LWLG, that's up 7% today, whether they're in the photonics design space, chip design space, the Neo Cloud spot. You have all these derivatives of what essentially is NVIDIA, because there is no NVIDIA, there is no Nebius or CoreWeave or any of these companies without NVIDIA. There is no Credo without NVIDIA. Like, you need NVIDIA to create the demand, but NVIDIA wasn't moving. And finally, NVIDIA is moving. Micron, SanDisk, you know, the memory names, they need to create memory for something, aka the GPU. And so NVIDIA's been stuck for a while. This thing got to 164 at the lows on March 30th, back to 195. One can argue it's still incredibly undervalued. Same thing with Meta, Amazon, and Google, and you're seeing that start to come in, which is very nice to see. Did ZETA stay up on the day? ZETA, oh, wow. Nice to see ZETA, PLTR, and Oracle. Because, again, it is still a bloodbath in software. It's not like they're all down 7 or 8%, but if we go to SaaS, as you can see on the screen, a lot of them are down, and they've completely given up their gains. So it is nice to see at least that one holding on. AMD right there, 255. 255 as that is continuing to get more excitement again. Robinhood as well, based on Bitcoin. I mean, there was no fundamental news on Robinhood. It was all Bitcoin, in my opinion, and just retail momentum. And so holding on to a 10% move. Last time we had a 10% move, that thing went down back to 72. The fact that it's holding it today and it looks like it's going to close at these levels is also nice to see. AppLovin right here, 433. This thing was at 390 the other day. This one also in the software space. So AppLovin, ZETA, Palantir, and Oracle that kind of held their own, getting some momentum. Microsoft is a software company, but I think the AI stuff is affecting them more today with the hyperscalers. Microsoft right there, 393. That is up 2.93%. Okay, now one thing we didn't talk about in the morning, and shout out to Laura for reminding me about this, because I was going to bring it up, but I didn't get a chance to bring it up because there was too much going on. Can someone explain to me why Avis Budget Group, which is a car rental company, ticker symbol CAR, is up 220% year to date? This thing was $107 in March. It's at 411, and it's done that. So you're talking about a 3x in the past 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on, how this is happening. I've never even heard of this company. I thought it was CarMax and the other one, which I'm forgetting the name of, Carvana, well, they're more used cars, but still, someone's got to explain what the hell. I mean, you're seeing a lot of different factions of the market start to get more momentum. Of course, I said the name wrong. Let's just call it ticker symbol CAR, okay? Now it's Avis. It looks like Avis, AVIS. You can't tell me like that I'm somehow bad for getting that wrong. AVIS, it looks like Avis. But the point is, it's up a lot. And it's kind of crazy to see how that's playing out. But you're getting a lot of different parts of the market that are showing momentum. Even Blackstone, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, these names. Duolingo ended up going red once again, SaaS name. SMCI, which got accused of fraud 2 weeks ago and smuggling chips to China, they're up 20% from those lows. I mean, Amcor hit new 52-week highs. Just across the board, MicroStrategy up 3.4%. It's nice to see this momentum. It's a little scary, not going to lie. There are some names like a Avis or an Avis that are going up that are kind of confusing about why they're going up. But if there's a more fundamental thesis and there's net new money coming into the market, I think that's why you're seeing that momentum. Coinbase right there, that's up 5.7% as well. Saidu Space, yup, your space names are rocking today. Rocket Lab really couldn't catch that much of a bid. Still up 2%. It was pushing 75, ended up falling to 70, but back at 72, which is not too bad. Again, ASTS getting hit based on the Amazon new acquisition. So it's nice to see. Avis is like Hertz. Really? I've heard of Hertz. I haven't heard of Avis. Well, but why isn't Hertz up 300%? I mean, it's one of those that we got to look into, because I could not believe how big of a move it's made. But, this is the cool thing about this market. There are a lot of names that are making a move, and it goes back to showing that we might be in a broader bull market if this war comes to an end and earnings growth starts to get respected, which as we get into earnings growth, the more respect and premium you give to an earnings for a company that's already undervalued, like the Mag 7, the more rebound they're going to have. And that's what we're seeing today across the entire board with the Mag 7. Was Apple up to? Apple was the only one that was down. Interesting. Apple was one of the only ones that ended up not being able to get up today. All right, so we got 40 seconds. We will close out this market. Got a couple other headlines that we'll talk about. I guess we have BM&R earnings, and I would imagine that should be out soon. Again, I don't know if it's going to have that much of an impact, but we'll see what numbers they put up. And then we'll have Jason on in about 15, 20 minutes, and we'll look at the TA. No, I've never heard of this company. I really have never heard of it. I wish I did, because maybe I would have bought it and up 300% in 2 weeks, but honestly never have heard of it. But it's making a move, and you're seeing a lot. I mean, even PayPal was up 1% on the day, dude. like you're getting a lot of names that are just coming back, and they're bringing the excitement and the momentum with them. Tuesday, April 14th, 4 p.m. S&P 500 closes at 694.22, just slightly below the all-time highs. The stock market is now closed. All right. We are done for the day. And there you go. 694.22, up about 1.18%. Very, very, very exciting to see. That is the 10th green day in a row, the biggest rally we've had since November of 2023. SPY looks like it wants 7,000 again. And you just know, if Trump can end the war and we have the S&P get back to 7,000, where's the Dow Jones? And the Dow kisses 50K. We're at 48.5. You just know the level of bragging and excitement that's about to come from the White House. So if we see it happen, it'll be exciting, but we're going to have to get those numbers to actually cooperate with us. And as we head into earnings, hopefully there's a shot to get there. Got an OpenAI headline that just came out. OpenAI releases cyber AI model to limited group after Mythos. Wow. Okay, so OpenAI. Guess they are getting ready to potentially compete with Anthropic's latest model. American Airlines ended up about 8% of the day. Tesla was about 3.34%. You got SOFI, great day. That was up 5%. S&P 500, 694. That's up 1.12%. Where was Micron? Micron, 465. This thing got to 318. That's up 9.1% of the day. Circle, great day, 7%. Duolingo, that was down with the software names. CoreWeave, massive day, 67 to 117 over the past 2 weeks. That was up another 6.2%. Nebius, did we get the 163 close? We got 161.94. That was up another 5% on Nebius. Coinbase, 184. TSM, that was up 2.83%. TSM just a little bit away to get into the $2 trillion market cap club, which was something that it had a couple of weeks ago, and then it lost it, and now it's getting right back. ServiceNow ended down 1.4% because of IGV getting a bit of a sell-off after that Anthropic news. IGV basically was up 1%, held up by Palantir, AppLovin, and Oracle. And then Rocket Lab, 72.22, 2.27%. Robinhood, did we get a 9% move? We got a 10.35% move on Mr. Robinhood. Very, very nice to see that come back and bring some excitement and momentum. All right, we don't have BM&R earnings yet. I know I will get the results once they come out. I don't see the results. Again, I'm not sure how much it will impact the stock. It will definitely give information for shareholders that are long, but in terms of shares outstanding and all the other stuff, but I don't know if it's really going to move. I mean, this happens to MicroStrategy every time, right? Like the earnings are hyped up, but nothing happens until Bitcoin goes up or down. And then we don't know if there's anything crazy that's going to be taking place. All right, so a couple headlines. Pakistani media citing Iranian officials. We are ready for a second round of talks. We are ready for a second round of talks. That is good to hear. That's probably Trump also confirming that to the New York Post today. So you got a Pakistani media official that came out about 4 minutes before the market closed. Quote, we are ready for a second round of talks. Most likely that is going to be happening in Islamabad again. I wonder if they send Vance there. I'm saying they should send me, but if they don't send me, I wonder if they send Vance, Kushner, and Witkoff again, or maybe Rubio makes a trip, and we'll see who goes there. By the way, Snapchat, you got a rumor right here from blind.com, which is this website that allows tech workers to anonymously post stuff. Rumored Wednesday, 4/15, layoffs. 50% of employees potentially could be affected in Snapchat. Snapchat was up 9% today. Maybe that was part of the reason that it was up. Maybe that was part of the reason it was up today. I don't know if there's any fundamental reason for Snapchat to be up today. Yes, Reddit and Meta had a good day. Maybe it was the bull market, but 50% of employees impacted. That doesn't mean 50% people will be fired. Yeah, as that headline came out around 350, that's when the stock really jumped. Okay, so that's definitely a reaction to, almost, it literally came out a couple minutes before the market closed. That could be another reason why Snapchat's getting some more momentum. Snapchat was at 358. It's at 560. It's made a return. You just have to be confident that there would actually be a rebound here. Kraken is filing for an IPO, looking like the valuation is going to be $13.3 billion. They had a $20 billion funding round back in 2025. This is another crypto exchange, not the robotics company. It looks like they have filed confidentially for an IPO, and crypto exchanges going public again. Some people might think that's a little toppy and euphoric, which probably is true, but it is bullish because it means liquidity is coming back, and the more liquidity that's in the system, the better chance there is of the market, actually making a move. And so we might be seeing that. Robinhood getting a little bit of move after hours. Okay, BM&R, I don't have these numbers. Let me see if I can find them. I don't know exactly how they're going to disclose it. Oracle already had the 30,000 layoffs, so we covered that a while ago. Disney starting a new round of layoffs. We talked about that as well. You're seeing a lot more companies potentially start laying off people. Amazon already did 30,000 a few months ago. I do not see any BM&R earnings. I don't see them yet. We are having Technical Tuesday today. Once I get these earnings, I will deliver them to everyone. Put in the chat what you did today, bought and sold, whether it's calls, puts, new stocks. Did you buy into strength? Did you sell? Did you trim? Kind of what was the round of action today? OpenAI said Tuesday that it's beginning to roll out GPT 5.4 Cyber, which is aimed at finding issues in software so organizations can fix them. Yeah, all those headlines together, not the best for the software names, even if it's not going to have an impact on them. Parzival says, I bought Hood. All right, we got some Hood buyers. Shout out to the person in the chat who bought 1.3 million of Hood yesterday and told us on the market close. I mean, you're up a nice little 100 grand today, or 130 grand. You're up 10%. So not too bad. Alex bought IREN. Johnny bought DoorDash, bought calls on ASML. That's going to be a big one tomorrow. Let's see if ASML can deliver. Bought a bit of Oracle, bought some NVIDIA, sold covered calls on Oracle, sold covered calls on NVIDIA, trimmed Amazon. Amazon again, did we get the 250 close? Amazon, we got 249. Still not too bad. Still not too bad. Rocket Lab just completed a $155 million Moneric acquisition. This was announced a while ago. Looks like that acquisition officially is complete. Rocket Lab right there, 72.20 after hours. I sold a ton of long calls that I had for NVIDIA. Not too bad. BMNR seems like a lot of people bought BMNR potentially for a trade today going into the earnings. Trim Nebius with a 210% profit. I have heard a lot of people today either selling calls or rolling calls or trimming Nebius. Look, I'm not buying it at 160. If it's Nebius at 160 or IREN at 45, I'm probably buying IREN. But who knows? Nebius has the excitement and momentum. Maybe this one just keeps going. And sometimes with price discovery, it doesn't really have to take a breather. So you're seeing that continue to gain some excitement. SOFI 1791, it closed just below 18. Yes, the SEC approved to eliminate the pattern day trader rule, which is essentially a rule that says if you have less than $25,000 in your account, you're not allowed to day trade. And they're switching the requirement. It's actually kind of bullish Hood, to be honest. But then again, if you're holding a $25,000, $30,000 account, I don't know how much activity you're going to be doing on your brokerage anyway, in the context of like actively trading. But they're replacing it with a new intraday margin framework that measures risk in real time instead of counting the trades, and it requires traders to maintain enough equity based on actual exposure in their margin and their equity versus like 25,000 as like this arbitrary threshold, which I always thought the $25,000 rule was stupid. It's like, why not 20,000? Why not 30,000? So that really didn't make sense. So it's a good update, and it's bullish Hood. I don't know if it's going to be super bullish for all the brokerages in terms of more and more trading volumes. But if more and more people start trading in general under a 25,000 account, then that's more trades for Hood, IBKR, Webull, etc. That partly could have been the reason Hood held up its pump as well. A lot of it was Bitcoin, and a lot of it was just S&P all-time highs. But maybe that played a role in terms of helping it. Okay, I still don't have any BMNR numbers. I don't know when they're coming out. I have nothing. I don't see anything on the website. I don't have any updates. ASML is tomorrow morning. So we'll find out about that tomorrow morning. BMNR earnings April 29th. Well, a bunch of you said it's today. See, on their IR page, you should be able to easily see this. And I don't see this in their IR page. Press releases. Yeah, I literally don't see when they have earnings. Are you guys saying they have earnings because like a brokerage told you they had earnings today? Because they're usually wrong all the time. So if someone has a real source that they have earnings today, although I saw a lot of people on Twitter say they have earnings, I guess a lot of people believe that. But they might not. And if they don't, then it is what it is. We'll move on. Yeah, I feel like they would have announced it as well, right? TOS says today, okay, Thinkorswim is always wrong. Always wrong. So is Robinhood. They're always wrong on this. So, all right, we're going to assume they don't have earnings, which if they see a big stock move or if I get the numbers, I'll give it to you. But until then, we don't have earnings. TeraWulf just filed for a mixed shelf offering. That stock down too. I wonder if these companies take advantage of the run they had and start diluting. It wouldn't be crazy to imagine that happening, but maybe we might see that today. Adobe again down about 1.83%. SMCI was up about 4.7%. GE Vernova was down. SanDisk also tried to go green at the end of the day. Basically ended up flat, but it was down 5%. Yeah, a lot of people saying April 29th. Okay, cool. So we will look at that over the next 2 weeks. All right, couple headlines before we get into TT of just some other stuff that happened today. Again, the main stuff is we had a crazy bull market day. 10 days of just a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum. Even some of the sectors that got hit pretty bad are starting to rebound. And it is very nice to see fintech and SaaS come back. Obviously, your AI names, your neoclouds, your supply chain plays, they are the ones that are kind of leading this rally. The fact that Bitcoin got to 76 today, quantum was up today, crypto coming back as well is also really, really, really nice to see in general. Here's another reason why we might be entering a little bit more of a bullish market. I couldn't believe this when I saw it, but it is true. April 29th for sure. Okay, cool. So no BM&R earnings. April 29th in 2 weeks. We'll cover it when we actually have earnings. So Senator John Boozman bought a 2x long S&P 500 ETF. He sits on the Senate Subcommittee on Commodities, Risk Management, and Trade. It was disclosed today that this guy made a leveraged bet on the entire stock market. He probably bought this about 10 days ago. Quite frankly, he might have got the bottom. Maybe it was a month ago. But the point is, he bought it when the S&P was not at 695. So, if our senators, if our elected representatives are levering up on 2x S&P 500, who knows? Maybe we're back. That's a great name, right? Boozman, that's a great name. So you might be seeing some of that excitement helping the broader market, and we're seeing more people pile into that momentum. Amazon, here's the update on why these guys cracked 250 on the day.
Yeah, Scott, right now it's on track for its highest close since November. Amazon has been leading the Dow today after announcing a deal to acquire Globalstar. This is a roughly $11 billion deal, really meant to help Amazon beef up its satellite internet business known as LEO, and then to help connect consumer smartphones and devices with those satellites. Amazon has been trying to make a dent into Elon Musk and SpaceX's dominance with Starlink. Amazon says it does plan to launch a new satellite to cell phone service in 2028 and then provide this service to smartphones. Globalstar already has a network of satellites out there and has provided Apple with links to support some of the iPhone features. Emergency call assistance, for example, when you don't have cell service or that's not available. Amazon has also said it did agree to a deal with Apple to power satellites for its phone networks, and then plans to work with Apple in the future. Spectrum rights are becoming a much bigger deal, a lot more valuable as SpaceX and Apple do start increasingly using these satellites to connect to phones instead of just telecom providers, Scott.
Obviously, Amazon has been one of the most obvious names in the market. It's freaking Amazon. We don't have to litigate the entire thesis. But the point is, it didn't break out. It has been so long since it finally got a move. And today, the fact that it made the move, I think, is getting a lot of people excited. We looked at this stat in the morning from a macro perspective. Hedge funds have shorted, or hedge funds have covered their shorts at the highest level in the past decade. And there had a negative 11.75% retracement in the level of short exposure that they had across US listed ETFs. This came from Goldman Sachs this morning. This is super bullish because you have the hedge funds that are covering their shorts. You know, they're probably afraid that the market's going back up again. But I heard a lot of people today say, well, that means this entire rally is rooted on short covering. It's not net new money coming in. And quite frankly, I don't think that's wrong. I think there are arguments about why a lot of stocks that were overly shorted, like your Nebuses or Bloom Energy, are getting these massive squeezes, 30% in a day, 40% in a week, because of funds covering their short. But Amazon has a 1% short float. NVIDIA has a 1.2%. Like the back sevens are not shorted, right? Like there is some level of short interest and puts and hedging that people do, but they are not actively shorted like a Bloom or a Nebuis would be. So I think personally, there might be some net new capital that was just sitting on the sidelines, legitimately deciding, okay, I think the war is coming to an end based on everything I'm seeing. And because I think the war is coming to an end, it's time to buy stocks. And then the question becomes, what stocks do you buy? Well, the most important companies on the planet. And those companies are the Amazons, the NVIDIAs, the Metas, the Microsofts. And as a result, maybe some of that net new money coming in is why we are seeing the velocity and magnitude of the move that we've had over the past 10 days be as aggressive. Obviously, we were down a lot, so that's part of the reason. But the breakout in some of these names, NVIDIA 196 from 160, Amazon 200 to 250, is very encouraging. And if that's the case, hopefully we continue to get more of that momentum. Chris Wright, Secretary of Energy, here's what he had to say about oil prices and when they'll be coming down.
Yes, look, we have gasoline prices today over $4 a gallon, still $1 less than they were in the Biden administration, and we're ending a 47-year conflict with Iran. So this is the road to more secure and lower long-term energy supplies, but it does mean higher prices today, probably means higher prices for a few more weeks. But I'm proud of President Trump to have the courage to take on just a growing problem with Iran, not just growing for peace and stability, but growing risk to energy resources coming out of that region. Soon they'd have nuclear weapons and a massive missile arsenal, and no one would be able to take them down. Proud of the president's actions. Does cause a few weeks of dislocation to the American economy, but we're going to get through it and get to a much better place afterwards.
This is going to be the narrative heading into the midterms, and I think Trump is already ready to embrace that narrative, which is that we had a few weeks of dislocations, but at the end of the day, I kept you safer. And because I'm keeping you and your family safe, that's why you should forgive me for that dislocation. And if the stock market goes up and oil comes back down, then it shouldn't be a reason you don't vote for me. And I think as long as the war comes to an end, and that's the narrative that the Trump administration rolls with, there is a shot that ends up working, and that people don't care that much about everything that's been happening over the past couple of weeks, and they're ready to move on from it. But you actually have to end the war and get some negotiations in place, which is why I think Trump is ready for round 2 of these talks. The NASDAQ has now risen over 10 straight sessions. We talked about that for the first time since 2021, gaining 13.7% over that stretch in one of its strongest rallies since 2009. This is a big deal. We're talking about one of the strongest rallies in the S&P since 2009. I mean, like, this is, and obviously we went down a lot, but we didn't technically go down a lot. I think the max peak to trough drawdown was 8.6%. That's not even a correction, right? Correction is 10%. So it's like we went down a lot, but now we're coming back, but we're coming back with momentum, with force, with velocity, with magnitude, with excitement. And if that earnings growth can live up to this run that we've had, which again, we're going to get earnings soon. All the banks crushed it this morning, by the way. Blackstone, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Johnson & Johnson, which is more pharmaceuticals. But you had every company that reported today. Goldman Sachs, they did what they had to do. Citigroup, they put up the numbers. And if the tech companies can also follow that, then maybe this can still continue. Burry disclosed a couple of days ago that he is long NVIDIA puts for 110 December 2027 and 115 January 2027. Those puts are getting hit pretty bad. I don't know how much money he put into it. For all we know, he could have put in $10, and that's his position. And he might just say that he's long these puts to make it theatrical, but in reality, he's not going to lose a lot of money. Or maybe he has 10 million in it. Who knows? But the point is, these puts are definitely down. And I mean, for them to get chopped in half, or for NVIDIA to be chopped in half, to go from basically 200 to 100 for him to make money on this, or at least, get back to 130, 140 for him to really make money, if the theta decay doesn't kill him, you're just going to have to see a collapse in the global economy for that to happen to NVIDIA, or NVIDIA is going to have to really mess up. And based on all the momentum we've been seeing across the other AI names, maybe that's not going to be the case. So that's what we got. That's what we got. His Palantir puts printed though, so he's up on the Palantir puts, but his strike is 50. So unless he closes them for the profit that he is at right now, he's trying to tell people to buy these puts because they're going to 50. So you need to see a lot more downside action on Palantir. And based on the reversal we had today, and the fact that it stayed green in the face of SAS going red, you're not necessarily seeing that at the moment. Yeah, the depreciation GPU argument is just not there anymore. It's just like he doesn't even talk about it anymore because I think people have realized it's not that important. AMD is 254 after hours, closed at 255. HIMS didn't have the best day. It tried. 2136 up 1%. This one, even after the Novo partnership, isn't really making that big of a move. Novo did have a partnership with OpenAI today. That stock was up 3%. But HIMS right there at 20. Amit, what was the new stock you bought this morning? I was about to say OpenAI. Not OpenAI. IREN. Bought some IREN. Let's see if IREN can make a little bit of a pump like NVIDIA and CRWV did. All right, I think that's it for me on all the headlines. I don't see anything else that's crazy. The major thing today was Trump said the second round of negotiations are basically going to begin. You have multiple sources confirming it. The Lebanese are negotiating with the Israelis today. Marco Rubio is with them. Hopefully we get a statement from him in a couple hours and we get to hear some progress on the negotiations. But outside of that, that was the main macro news. Again, really good day. Let's see if we can keep it going. And to help us find out if we can keep it going, let's bring on one of my favorite, not only technical analysts on the planet, but one of my favorite people on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again time to roll the intro.
He's too nice, man. Too nice.
Are we back?
I mean,
are we back?
Certain things are back. That's for sure. I think
That's all we
you
wanna
know,
Jason. All you need to tell us for the next 2 hours is that we're back. That's all we care about.
To me, dude, there was no way, like, unless we had some crazy headlines, there was no way that we were going to crash coming into like peak earnings. Didn't mean that we had to go up, but I knew that we were done going down for a while. And I said that last week.
Yeah.
And we talked about the 24-hour or 48 hours of glory, but turns out it was more than 48 hours, bro.
Well, it was
what I know.
It was 36 hours. Then Trump talked from the Oval Office. Then it wasn't 48 hours, and then ceasefire, and now it's like 172 hours. So
yeah. So yeah, I think regardless what's in the charts and what's been in my head for a while is that it doesn't matter. Like the oil stuff, it doesn't matter. Like it's all gonna get sorted out in the long run. But the only thing that matters, it doesn't matter how high oil goes. It doesn't matter like any of that. Like the only thing that matters is the duration of like, if oil's over $80 for more than 6 months, okay, well, maybe we can have some legitimate effects, but we were 2 months in at most. And so for those reasons, like it was going to take a lot longer for the bear case to play out. We got through GDP, which came in at like 0.5, not very good. Oddly enough, we got through CPI, we got through PPI today. We got through a lot.
Like literally none of it mattered. Non-farm payrolls, none of it mattered.
Yeah, and it was bad. It was all bad. But
I think so bad. It was the worst in 3 years, and no one cared.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we talk about trading news from time to time, so I'm multitasking. But you know, when you have good news and your stock goes down, it's kind of like, well, everything was priced in, and it's not necessarily a good thing, right? Because it's always like, what does the market have to look forward to moving after that? But when you have bad news, and I think this is the tell, and the stock goes up, or stocks in general go up, it's like back to that. We were so hedged. Everybody was waiting for like peak bad news, and we started to get close, but it wasn't doing anything. It was already priced in. That's what that says. And I heard you asking earlier if this was like a short covering rally. I see a lot of short covering. I do, but that doesn't mean that we can't continue on. And we talked about this over the weekend. You guys don't know this, and I believe that there's no way he's going to tell you this, but Amit was very depressed this weekend, and he was very worried. And we had a conversation, and I was like, bro, you need to like. I was like, what did I say? There's actually a raging freaking bull market underneath. Like if you know what to look for. And it's
what
not
actually happened is Jason called 7 times and I missed his calls and he was mad. He's like, pick up your phone. And I was like,
I was mad.
I was like, I've been busy. I'm sorry.
But yeah.
No, okay. So let's get into it because there's a lot to talk about today. And I want to talk about the sort of thesis you have on the bull market in certain sectors of the market. So let's pull up the charts. Let's start with the S&P 500. We're going to do large caps first, the indices, the main stuff, and then we're going to get into audience requests. But also, Jason and I did have a call over the weekend, and there's a lot of names like your Blooms, like your NBISs that are in the AI infrastructure sector that don't give a shit about the Iran war. And even throughout the Iran war, they went up. And I think we're going to talk about those names and potentially do some TA on them and see kind of how they.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand. Like, there are names because the thesis is like this generational data center build out. And we've been talking about the bifurcated market all year long, right? And as we got into this year, but hang on, somebody wants to say hi. But okay, say hi.
Do we have Lil Man here?
Yeah. Say hi. Hi.
What's up, man? Oh, he's so cute.
He got big, huh?
He got big. Yeah, he got way bigger from since last time.
All right, you're drumming. He's checking himself out.
He's getting ready to sell some options too. There he is.
Are you ready? Say bye. Bye-bye. Can you wave?
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that kid's gonna be a billionaire, bro. Like legit, that kid's gonna be a billionaire.
Oh, you don't want to leave. Mama's taking now. But
okay, so let's get into it. We'll talk about the sort of AI thesis you have as well when we get some of those names in, and we'll get started. So 5 minutes S&P. Let's get started, and then we'll get into the other stocks.
So we were on edge. We were teetering. This is a weekly chart of the S&P 500. I like weekly charts. You can do whatever. I'm always using multiple charts, but if you want to see trends, I think this is the biggest one. 658 right here was not last week, but the week before. That was the first level that, hey, look, once we got through this and we had a small little breach below, it was basically up and to the right from there. I think that's about where we started talking about. We are beyond my upside targets for this move. And we just keep grinding away. I keep waiting for shorts to show up. They're not showing up. It's a low volume rally, but this happens once a year too, where we have this low volume rally that just grinds higher continuously. And that's where we are. So at this point, if you were short, if you had shorts on, myself included, you have to start covering them. My concern is still, this is how they get you, but we have peak earnings coming, right? And so,
just to confirm, you're saying if people are net short, you think it's time to stop playing around. It's time to get out of it.
Yeah.
So if someone says, but Jason, we've had such a big run, now is when I should double down or like save it as a hedge.
It depends on how you do it, right? Like you don't want to, so I'm always long, but I have hedged positions from time to time. And I've hedged Robinhood, Tesla, namely those two most recently. And those are at a point where like they've done their job. And I'm considering taking them down. But can I put them back on? Yeah, I could, right? So like net short though, if you want to be net short, you could probably be net short oil right now or those stocks because like we're just rotating, right? And to me, for this month, for the month of April, as long as we have peak earnings still ahead of us, I just don't see the big, I don't see the market breaking down. Can we top out? Yes. By the time we're done with earnings at the end of the month, maybe into May, I think that you could be a little bit more concerned when we have GDP coming in for the first look for Q1. We haven't seen that yet. The estimates are fairly high. But
real quick, by the way, the reason Nike's up 1% after hours is because 3 directors bought some stock. So that's why Nike's going up. So basically you're saying we don't have to rip to 7,200, but we're definitely not going back to 6,300 at the lows.
Not right now. No, not this month. Not happening. Next month, different story. But while the market still has something to look forward to with another FOMC meeting, it's the end of the month. It's April 29th, right? So we have the last, I think one of the last FOMC meetings for JPAL. Then we have GDP on the April 30th. Those are the 2 dates that would concern me the most. But everything between now and then, we're pretty much through, and we just have to look forward to earnings, mega cap earnings, and just earnings in general. And I think that's what we're seeing. So we're seeing people not want to get net short ahead of that. We've had a big run. We are beyond all my targets. Can we continue to go? We can. And if we do, that will likely create a bit of a squeeze. 658 that was the level. If I go into here, we're very close to the actual highs. So, I mean, we're basically at all-time highs. I don't think you would, a couple bucks one way or the other is not going to make a big deal. From here, we can pull back to 690 and it'll still be a long. And that's where I would expect about 689 to be support near term. And near term for this week, our upside resistance is those all-time highs at 695 to 697. Again, if we open above 695, we're going to see 697 in very short order. But this area right here and this actual wick represents the absolute all-time high right here. This guy's 698 for SPY. And like I said, we're in an active short squeeze. So every dip is getting bought right now. That's what I can say from a trend perspective. We're nearing the top. This is like a full-blown reversal, but these type of setups are rare, generally rare. You can ride this trend, I think is my point, until it starts to go sideways for a while. And then once we start going sideways, at that point, that's when I would be a little bit more cautious. And let's do this. If I were to take this and do a full consolidation break, well, this goes still to the 7, man, I hate saying this, but like 740, 750 type area.
Well, would it really surprise people if I mean, we've just been so bad for the past 7 months. If we do have a breakout, I don't know. I don't think people would be that surprised, but obviously it would be very violent if that.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is like, there's a joke amongst traders that we used to call the Mag 7, the lag 7 for a while, because they lag so bad, right? And they're finally catching up again ahead of their earnings reports. That's going to be the biggest thing right now. And they're kind of catching up right now. Like we see Amazon. I mean, any Mag 7 is reclaiming their trend at this point. We're at the top of what. This is the tippy top, like the absolute top of what a counter trend bounce could be right here. It's still possible because we're not making all-time highs. So if we're over that 698 in force, like we have weekly closes or we open next month over 700, I mean, we're just going. And if we continue, but if we lose 700 at any point after this move, that's when I would be more cautious. So I think you could keep that as a round number, 700 on SPY. We're going to magnet right into that. We can get to 750. If we crack 750 on SPY, well, we know that we're going to 12s. But if we don't, that would be the general idea. And like, yes, well, this can do something like this. If it doesn't continue, I could expect this, but maybe this is, maybe this is what Q4 looks like if we get a dip. I don't know. This is, I knew we stopped going down. I did not have this in the cards. We just kept going up. That's what I know. And so right now, I mean, we're at resistance. There's no other way to put it, but volume is about half of what we're used to seeing right now.
Okay. So last thing on the S&P, then we got to move on. Is there any concern that the volume is abysmal right now?
It happens like all the, like I said, once a year. We have these type of rallies, like low volume rallies.
But what does that mean when there's low volume?
So this right here, this spot on the S&P, and I just turn this volume. Let me do this. So I'm going to turn a volume area. So here's volume. So this is a very low volume rally, April, May.
Oh, wow.
Year. Extremely low
the
volume.
Liberation Day V-shape was incredibly low volume.
Extremely low volume. Yeah. And it's not that that's abnormal, right? So you have big volume sell-offs over here, and then low volume rallies. All of this is low volume rally. You can see this. It's not abnormal. And around this time of year, it's actually pretty regular. Like this year, 2021, this whole thing, very low volume rally. And so we can continue to go on, and maybe later on we chop. But my point is that you don't know when it's going to stop. I wouldn't pay too much mind to the low volume stuff right now. It's not that big of a deal. In some schools of technicals, they'll tell you that you need sustained volume for this to be real. And with this low volume, it's just not real. I don't subscribe to that theory, just because I've seen it play out so many times. I just showed you where we've had just sustained low volume rallies. Yes, they eventually pull back. But the problem is that at a certain point, you realize this is still going to keep going. And by the time it pulls back, it will probably be pulling back to a spot that's higher than where we are right now. And that's the problem, right? Like you could still pull back, but where it pulls back to, it's dependent on where it stops, and if it doesn't stop for a while, then that's where you are.
Okay, cool. Let's move on.
So 690 for right now is what we want to hold on SPY. And then if we can break out, it's going to be over 700. You can let it run. If at any point in the year we lose 700 moving forward, that's when you want to be very mindful, because we're probably going to pull it back. And we could see that what I'm talking about is you don't want to see what's called a look above and fail. That is still at risk. We've seen this many times on many charts. But if we get there, you can ride this as it's going, and then you'd want to see this come back, rest around 700, but you don't want to see this failure below. Cool.
Okay, cool. Let's move on. Jason, can we make the timer 3 minutes? Because we definitely don't need 5 for a lot of these, and that'll help us get through some more tickers. And I want to do a couple that are not the large caps before we get into it, but they're definitely top of mind for everybody.
Are they new? I'm getting excited.
They're not new. They're two big ones, but they're important.
See, I got excited. Go ahead.
Okay, NBIS.
Oh,
this one is interesting.
So she did the breakout. It just went over 130. Covered calls would be underwater here, but if this was to break out, I don't know why this is at 2:30. 2 minutes 30 seconds, fine. 175 to 180. So from here, again, all of these are like this pre-earnings run up, right? And we're coming into earnings at the end of the month for a lot of things in the next couple, not next week, but the week after is when we get really peak earnings. And a lot of these smaller caps are after that. So towards the end of the month, this is taken a bit. I think you have trajectory into 190s, maybe like 175-ish area. Once you get up there, you don't want to lose it, because then you'll have this pullback into the 130s. But I still don't hate covered calls on NBIS, because you have expanding IV coming into earnings. Is this overbought? Yes. Does that matter? Again, no, not to me. I guess I should have texted you at 80, but oh well, my bad. I didn't
Literally
get it.
your fault. I was waiting for you called me 7 times this weekend, but you couldn't text me when it was 80.
I mean, dude. So once you crack through 115, we're going to 131. We lost it, came back, retested the 200. This is going back to the basics. The bulls are bullish, umbrellas are bearish, generally speaking. It's a big bull. It's your little cup, your little handle. Technically, it did exactly what it needed to do, and it's in an active squeeze right now. This is also an active squeeze. You can see on the right-hand side of my screen, this is volume. This volume profile here, extremely thin volume, very one-sided. So as we're going, stocks like this, I'll tell you this much, they are definitively in active squeezes. But again, it doesn't mean that they have to stop. This is very thin. The reason that it keeps going is because there's just not a lot of sellers. There's very few sellers here. And until they show up in size, it's not happening. I do see a little bit more sellers than buyers, but 132 on a pullback is going to be your support. So it's quite a ways away. 132 here is what you would want to see that act as support, and then potentially come through if you don't make it up to 175.
If someone were to ask, Jason, I missed it, I'm having FOMO, is it okay to buy into strength? Would you feel more skeptical than not on buying NBIS at 160?
I think it depends on how you do it. I don't think you can.
Nothing fancy, just like, should I buy the stock, or would you buy NBIS at 160? Not options, nothing, like just
not options. On if it has like a couple red days in a row, like 2 or 3 red days in a row, I wouldn't buy it on the first red day. Maybe like a very small portion, but the more red it got, again, closer to that 130 type level, I wouldn't have a problem buying that type of pullback.
Okay.
I mean, I own NBIS. I just don't own it in size. This is like my one AI play that I have had for a while.
The other one before the large caps, before the large caps, which is a big one today, is our hoodie. We finally got a breakout.
Yeah, so this is the one where I'm like, okay, we're here. I had said prior that I could see this into the 90s, into the mid 90s for a pop. I'm going to continue to say that. So for that reason, I think that this is a pre-earnings run up. We can get even squeezier. I see 90 on the charts, very clean, as long as 76 or essentially the 50-day SMA at this point holds. And I would hope that we see a little bit of a chop like this, right? And this becomes, honestly, the best case scenario. So knowing, again, stocks go three directions. They go up, they go down, and they go sideways most of the time. Essentially, they run, they rest, and then they run again. So we ran here, big run, a small rest here. We ran down, then we rested. We're just now. So are you late? No, you're right on time. We just now started to look like we're going to run again. And so if you like Hood, I said last week I bought some. I bought a little bit more. I haven't closed my upside calls yet, but I think I probably will here. Have you closed yours?
Some of them, but not all of them.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. I closed those a month and a half ago, but I've been.
Oh yeah, I didn't get texts, so I'm supposed to text you. You don't text me. All right, I see how it is, dude.
No, I closed those a while ago, but I've been running higher delta or lower delta ones on a weekly basis. And partly because it felt like the squeeze was eventually going to happen. However, I wonder how you're feeling about this as an OG Hood person. There's nothing fundamental that changed outside of the S&P going up and Bitcoin going up. And that's what makes me a little nervous here, because the metrics, we both saw them. They're not going to be good for Q1, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think March Madness is going to be that great either. But from a chart perspective, I absolutely see $90.
Yeah, me too.
I can see even higher than that. $100 is clean. At this point, if we're going to hold 75, the 120s is there.
And good old 80 to 120 layup.
Yeah, it's the good old 80 to 120 layup. I think that's in the cards. Again, it's been rough. This is the point where I go back to my Bitcoin or my other stuff. There are a lot of mistakes I've made in my career trading. And some of the things that I try to do different now, like really make a conscious effort to try to do, is like go back to the trades that worked before and not sign off like it's a done thesis. Like I can't tell you guys how many times I've said a countless number of times I sold most of my Bitcoin at like 15,000 after having a 10x run up. Yeah. But what I don't usually say is that like some of the biggest mistakes was that I was right that I thought Bitcoin at 15K was going to have a massive drawdown. If you didn't know, after it was like just under 20K, it went down to $3,000 almost. So I was totally right on my technical read, but my biggest mistake was not going back in and picking it back up. Does this make sense? I was like, I sold everything I'm going to sell on this. I've made so much money. It honestly, it got me a lot to be able to do a lot of things that I'm able to do now. But if I could go back, I just don't want to do the math, because like if I went back and said, hey, look, if I had rebought, dude, this is probably one of those same scenarios, right? And so, yeah, I don't have a problem buying this again. And I think as you guys see me operate, this is one of the biggest things that's different about me today versus if you caught me, 10 years ago, I would have probably not been actively buying this back here. And I think at this point, yeah, you can go ahead and do it.
Okay, let's do the large caps, and then we will get into all of the audience requests. We got a lot of tickers today. Let's start off with NVIDIA 196. Feels kind of bullish.
Yeah, it feels bullish. 193 was like that upper end resistance here where we just kind of like plowed right through it. This is what I'm talking about. Very thin volume. One more time if you didn't know. This is actually decent structure. I don't know why this is. Oh yeah, no, this is thin volume. Active squeeze as we come into Mag 7 earnings. So what I'll say is you have You have a session gap available 206. I'm pretty positive this is going to fill 206 right here. That's been there for a while. 164. Again, I don't do this 100% correct, right? Like I wish I would have grabbed 164. We had it on our charts forever. I did not buy this. I don't know if anybody else bought it, but that was the spot. I bought a bunch of other stuff, but I'm happy with that. But yeah, this can easily squeeze to 206 and change. And if it hangs out around 212, then you're probably going to see that 250? I'll pull this up for you one more time. Right? Oh yeah. As long as you're over 193, that this is happening. If as long as you're over 193, 206 is happening. If you get through 213, then 220, 235s is on deck up to 250. And it doesn't even have to be earnings. This is going to be everybody else's earnings that NVIDIA tends to run on. But what you don't want to see is you don't want to see this lose 193. At that point, you need to take measures because this is going to be one more look above and fail. And you should retest that 175 if you want to take measures. Then you'll see that 175 again, which will act as support.
Okay. Amazon 250 is here.
Yeah, this is wild. So Amazon has broken down multiple times. I thought this was going to stop, and it did not stop. It has stopped dead in its tracks, literally at like this little 240 area right here. I mean, an insane amount of times, like absolutely insane amount of times. So here, 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 and here. This is, again, one more active squeeze. You have up to literally right here as a fair value. Did my clock start or did I run out of time? To right here, which is oddly where we stopped, 250. It's a round number. It makes sense.
Do you think Bezos is done selling, or do you think he pops back out now?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Because that would be hilarious, right? If he starts selling.
Yeah, what I do know is that I think the blackout. So the blackout periods are still on, right? It's not till the end of the month.
Yeah, you're right. Technically, yeah, you're right.
So blackout periods come off after they report, which could carry us even further if the stocks get decimated. But we'll see. 250. It's a round number. It's not that big of a deal. What I'll say is 242. If you down to 240, you just don't want to see this lose 240. And if you do, if you pull back and you do a little something like this, that would actually be fine. That's about 227 spot. For right now, this is everything on the charts are momentum plays. It's not fundamental based at all. These are all technical moves to me as I see it. So like as long as momentum holds, that's fine. But the second that they don't, you got to be cautious. Something like earnings for Amazon is going to, like, this could look like the biggest bullish setup. Earnings comes, they miss again, you're right back in the 220s, just like that. It's that simple. So as we get into earnings, if you're in these for a trade, and I say trade very explicitly as in not an investment, at that point, you got to know that your trade is done before earnings. You're gambling if you hold a trade through earnings.
Meta 660.
Meta right at resistance. So again, this is where the short squeeze happens. So like Meta can squeeze very quickly. So 585 was the level. So here's the prior support, 585 that we had pulled up. It breached that. You have a very classic technical breakdown, losing this exact spot. It comes down to 520, pops up again. 585 acts as resistance for a few days, and then it squeezes through. This is an active short squeeze here, right? But your shorts actually cover at 595, which is the top of this zone. And you can see this so fast. Right in here, there's a little wick. You might not see it on the charts. I don't think you can see it, but there is a little baby wick that comes down, retests the top during the session. That would activate a trade at least to 635. And at this point, if you're holding over 635, you're going likely to 730s. Your back test would be to 635. Oops. And yeah, so here, 665, this is that primary resistance right in here. You can see this big area here. This is your primary resistance. If it continues higher, we're squeezing to the upside slowly but surely. And through that would take you probably to about the mid to low sevens.
By the way, speaking of Meta, the information just said the VP of Engineering for AI Infrastructure, Upnar Ramani, has left just now.
Not surprised.
So I guess she's bearish. But
your support near term is that 630 level. So right in here, if you get this is fine. I think this is available for a pullback. But if it holds this and then starts to go through like this again, this is what structure would look like, just like that. So you can have a $30 drawdown on Meta from this point moving forward, and this can still be a good position and your momentum is not lost. As long as you're not losing 630 in strength. If you are, expect sub 600, just barely sub 600 to hold a support one more time. But for now, you're at resistance. If you break through this, then you're having active squeeze, meaning you have both shorts getting long. Basically, a squeeze is like if you were short, you're just going to buy it back, which means that you're getting long the stock in a sense. It doesn't have to be net new money to come in for a stock to continue to go higher. It doesn't work that way. But
do you see that 750 range in play for earnings again?
Yeah. I mean, for earnings, I don't gamble like that. As much as people think I like to gamble, like I don't do that. Like I really don't do that. I avoid it at all costs. So I don't play that game like a lot of the viewers do. I just don't. But I can see on the chart 720s. It's a losing proposition from a trading perspective.
Tesla.
So 350 was my downside. If it continued to go down below 350, I have like 300s. And I posted something on testing. I was like, I am so not prepared for this. This was after that update. 350, 654. That was my initial downside. And I had it down to 322 if it couldn't get back above it. Right here, right now, Tesla's on support. You have earnings coming. Go ahead and pick it up if you like it. When you get to earnings, a portion. When you get to earnings, that's going to change the game again. But between now and the actual earnings report, Tesla is not going down as long as it's over 356. Again, the downside trend here is over. A worst case scenario, this kind of chops sideways, but until you get to earnings. But this move is done. Finally.
So
when you do get to earnings, it's a crap shot, right? Crapshoot. I don't play that game, but the game I do play is trend, like understanding the trend when the trend is done and when it's like just beginning. This is not a beginning stage of a trend. This downtrend is done for now. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so
it's not in an uptrend, but it's not in a downtrend either.
Right, the downtrend is done. As long as it's over 350, that's the low. Low is in.
Microsoft.
For now. Maybe later after earnings, again, story changes. This thing, I'm happy with my larger buys here. All buys on Microsoft are now officially green. So we're good. And this thing can get real squeezy. So if the market's gonna, turn around a little bit, today Microsoft sits on its 50-day simple moving average. It has just come out of support. So between 385 down to 345 is support, like ultra support. 415 is next on deck. If we can hold the 50-day SMA, if we can hold 385, 415 is on deck. I would venture to say ahead of earnings. Yeah, ahead of earnings. And that is overhead resistance. Anything over 415, we're in an active squeeze that goes up to 470. But earnings, again, at the end of the month, this is what I'm saying. Like, we have so many stocks that are beaten down ahead of like earnings at the end of the month. Like, dude, come on. They're going to pick it up right before, at least partial. It doesn't have to completely like explode, but this one also done going down for now. As long as no headlines change that, but as long as this is over 384, expect 384 to act as support. Can it come back down and retest 384, something like this, and then bounce up? Absolutely. And that still sets me up for 415 to the upside. And again, this one, if we're over 415 in strength, it's going to be a $50 shot very, very quickly. So, yeah, I'm happy with this one. This is probably the one that I've been building into the longest. Not the only one. I have some new stocks that I've been building into, but yeah, this is on track. On track, man. We're done. We have to at least go sideways, maybe go up, but we're done going down for right now.
Okay, we'll do 3 more, and then we will take audience requests. Again, we will get to most of them, but let's do the final 3, and then we'll keep going. Palantir.
Dude,
surviving.
Had it not been for the Trump tweet, I swear this thing was not going to hold 125, bro.
No, it was not holding 120. We were at 122.
That's just like, it was holding 120, but it was real close, my dude, like real close. This, you got some divergence. This is going to get squeezy. This is what I was saying last week. I think we said, the charts one week, one way or the other, can change the look very quickly. So 125 is support. Expect that to act as support at least until we get into earnings. This looks like May 4th. This is a clean retest here of a prior break of structure at 125 right there. You do have a little bit lower support, but maybe you get lucky and maybe it comes down for like a bigger buy later, and maybe it doesn't. But upside, it's going to at least, to me, this is like 140s, but let me get you a clean measurement. 165 is still in play. I think this is okay. It's not even that big of a bounce, actually.
Yeah.
It's still in support. So it's not fully out of support like the rest. If this squeezes, it's very quickly into 140, and then it's very quickly 155. And at that point, over 155, we're likely going to see 165.
It was going for 138 today until the new Anthropic model came out. So it's like, it makes sense what you're saying. Like, it is ready to kind of try to get back to those levels. Well,
I actually talked to TJ the other day on his Palantir trade. I think he's got it like nailed right now. But this is a run. This is a rest. This is a small run. We're still currently in a rest phase. It's done going down as long as it's over 125. When I say that, what I mean, TA, if you guys haven't learned by now, is very reactionary. Try not to be super predictive, but I can forecast. Most people don't. 125 is the point at which you would react and say, all right, well, we're probably going to go lower here. So again, that's what I mean by as long as it's over 125, I would expect that to be a tradable bottom, possibly 130 at this point, a tradable bottom. But if it just goes higher right now, you're also not late because look at the chart. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. And if it's over 138.5 from here, we should very quickly see that it'll probably be around 155. Just ahead of earnings.
RKLB?
I do have a little divergence here. Also, Lab of Rockets is, $60. It breached it slightly. Reclaim, retest 61.50. This looks good. We're holding 68.5. Do you guys know that Amit has become like a active day trader for his mom? Like he's turning his mom into a day trader lately too. I was like, this guy's wild, bro. I
didn't know where to sell it. I didn't tell her to sell it, but she saw the gains and dude, my dad called me today. He said, now that you bring this up, my dad said, I bought 200 shares of Hood at 74, sold it at 78. He was so happy this morning.
I mean,
it was just like,
they should come over. They should come over to my spot, dude. They'll be cleaning house right now.
Dude, they should.
But yeah, so Rocket Lab 75 is overhead resistance. I think you get there, but I think this is a Momo play that hasn't even started yet. So I'll just say this: if this is over 75, we're 120 never came off the table. It never came off the table. So that's where it would be. But you need this to hold that 68.5 level. So this is support right now, very near term, right over here, 68.50 down to 65. I mean, it's really this entire bucket, right? So this is what we call the golden, what do we call this? The golden zone. And that is measured from this relative swing low at 37 up to this relative swing high at 99.5. What this box is, this red box and this brighter green box here, the red box is the golden zone from a technical retracement perspective. This is a bullish retracement below 68.50 down to 61.19. This green is called the golden pocket, which is the one that I use primarily. But as long as you're holding up over 68.50, that bullish retracement is complete, and you're essentially on your way back to these highs with a couple stops on the way of 77.86 and then 84. This is the bearish retracement. This is one of my personal setups. If I were to say IP exists in trading, it does, but I give you a lot of these setups a lot of time anyway. So it's 78 to 85. You can have this here, trade 1, trade 2. And if you get over 85, it's over. Like it's over. And we're back on our way. And that might be a SpaceX IPO. I don't know. But that is
I feel like that's gotta be what I mean. It's gotta be
it's
a big update on Neutron, like one of those two.
Yeah, it's a play. It might not be the play, but I'll tell you what, this is one of many setups in the market. It's not alone. It's not a lone wolf, which is what makes it so crazy when you look at a lot of stuff that's going on right now. There are a lot of setups in this market, which when you start going through your charts and you're like, oh wow. And yeah, I get it. We're very close to prior all-time highs at the index level, but there are a lot of really good stocks that aren't even close. And if those get close, yeah, we're 725s on S&P.
Okay, last one before we get to the audience requests. And again, please make sure to be following Jason on X if you are not. He does this for us every week for the love of the community. So I'm putting his X right there, and I'm putting his YouTube in the chat as well. SOFI, what are you thinking about this one?
Well, I think we sorted this one out last time too. Again, pre-earnings run up, end of the month. As long as I had this to 1782. You're here. If you get up over 1782, you're just under $20, $20.67. That is the equivalent of, I think, about Robinhood at 90, give or take, a penny higher, and that's happening in very short order, like maybe even a single session short order, or 2 sessions, or another 48 hours of glory for SoFi. But it makes this trek from 18 to 20 very regular, like very quickly. So just like this is 1, 2, 3 days in a 3-day session. It did it over here. I would expect it to do it again there. It did it to the downside over here in this was more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days to the downside on that one. So this is a liquidity pocket that if SoFi gets over 1785, this trek $2 up and down, SoFi makes it very quickly, very regularly. And ultimately you could probably get up to this retested resistance. This is like rate stuff, I think also. I don't know why like the rates are going down the way that they are, but that's probably good for the market.
The banks also had good earnings, which should help SoFi. Broadcom's moving after hours. Jason, you can pull it up. I'll try to find the headline. What's happening here?
Whoa, yeah, that's moving.
What's happening?
I don't even know if I
Of course, X is down. So is X down for other people? I can't. X is down for me. It might be down for others. Broadcom, I don't have any update.
Dude,
it's got to be something.
See, this is what happens. Sometimes I do these like little equity trades and option trades, and I close them so early. I was like, I bought this freaking Broadcom, and I was like, well, we'll get to 316 for sure, no problem. And then it's quickly there, and I'm like, oh, that's fast.
I bought this shit. It was only $3,000, but I bought it at low.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
like. You know, their forward PE is 20. This is not that expensive. Like I thought Broadcom was like it's not. It's like NVIDIA, and if you go forward.
Are these the right metrics, though, to be measuring these stocks anyways?
I mean, given it's a $2 trillion company, you start to care about some of these things more than not.
So 400
Broadcom announces partnership with Meta to deploy technology to support multi-gigawatt of Meta's custom silicon, MTIA. Meta is not up after hours. Broadcom is.
Let's check NVIDIA. Slightly down.
NVIDIA down. It's slightly down. Okay, Broadcom. It's going back to 400, man. It took 8 months, but it's going back to 400.
This is my one issue with NVIDIA is like there are so many chips coming. There's no way that it's all NVIDIA moving forward.
And by the way, yeah, people are right. The 4P is 34. Their non-gap is at 20, so I am wrong about that. But 34 is like, we're not going crazy for 60% growth. 34. We're not screaming overvalued here, right? Now I get at 480, 450 was a little tougher, but yeah, who knows? Maybe this one really is the next one to get into that $3 trillion club. But this thing got to 292 on March 30th. Like that March 30th low kind of defined this entire 12-day rally we've had.
3 trillion. 1.8.
It's at 1.8 right now, yeah.
NVIDIA 4.7.
Where's NVIDIA? Are we at 4 points? Okay.
4.78, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
Okay, take me over under of the Mag 7s, just a personal question here. At the end of the year, who has the biggest market cap of the large caps?
Is that even a question?
Uh-huh.
The only one that could compete is Apple with NVIDIA. The other ones, I don't think the other ones get to 4 trillion.
Dude, they're real close.
Year, it's NVIDIA. At the end of this year, it's NVIDIA.
Why isn't it Google? 4 trillion Google.
No, Google would have to go to 4.5-ish.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA would have to go down. Google would have to have 700 billion of market cap to catch up. I don't see that happening. I mean, I can see it happen, but I think if Google goes to 380, NVIDIA is probably at 220-ish.
Can we do a wager? Like, does NVIDIA retain their like market cap crown at the end of the year, December 31st?
I can
or does somebody overtake them? Okay, are you going to open a poll? I mean, that would be wild,
is
right?
NVIDIA the largest mega cap by end of year? If you pick no, then dude, what if SpaceX? I will lose my mind if SpaceX goes to 5 trillion. No, it's got to be NVIDIA, bro. That's not even a question. Because all these other derivative plays that are running, it's because of NVIDIA. It's got to be NVIDIA, bro. It's not even. Silicon through 2029, 1 gigawatt Meta Training Inference Accelerator, MTIA. The collaboration covers chip design, packaging. Dude, this sold off today.
75% yes.
Broadcom sold off today because of a headline with Marvell and
what are you talking about?
It was down 2% in the morning because of freaking what was the headline, guys? It was Marvell and
bro, dude.
Marvell and Google collaborated. Took Broadcom down.
It didn't even. It opened green and just continued.
No, but in the pre-markets, I mean, people saw it and people were asking what happened. So, but the fact that even happen for 2 minutes is incredible, given what it's doing right now.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
No.
It's right here. The little blip on the radar.
Oh, trust me, dude. The chat sees everything. We get Nike moves up 1%. People are like Nike.
I know.
What's going on? Like,
guys,
people,
can we just take a breather? How about we zoom out for a minute here and just look at this epic downtrend? Like, what are we talking about right now?
The problem,
as much as I would love to root for Nike,
it still trades at a 30 times earnings. I mean, it's more expensive than Meta. Like, what are we talking
Nike?
about? Yeah. Like, we can't, like, you can't, I mean, Meta might be a little bit more now because of the run it's had, but this doesn't make sense, buying this over tech when this is not growing and Meta, Google, Amazon are growing. But maybe sentiment is so bad that it's going to get a spike anyway. Okay, cool. Let's get into audience requests. We'll put 1:30 on the clock. Please do not spam your ticker. It is very annoying.
They can try. If they do, we're going to do like if they request more than 3 times in all caps, then it's an auto ban for a week.
Okay, I thought Jason was about to say the only way you get your ticker is if you spam it 3 times. I'm like, Jason,
okay, so the only way.
Okay, let's start off. I promise we will get to your ticker. We got like 2.5 hours, so we're going to try our best.
We'll try.
I don't want to promise if we miss it, but we are going to try our hardest to get to every ticker. Okay, ServiceNow. Start with
that. I think she's okay. I mean, so you're off the low. This is a very weak bounce. It was a big bounce for a single day. I don't know that software is done. I do know that like we have a relief bounce. It's very hard to say that we didn't. ServiceNow is exactly in the spot that like Meta was at $90, that Netflix was at $70 or whatever, pre $7. Like if you have a 3 to 5 year time horizon, you buy ServiceNow and you hope to God that it goes lower. Period. End of story. If you believe in this leadership, I mean, old SAP CEO, like it's not like super old. But yeah, like all of these, Workday, Autodesk, ServiceNow, $81 is like the spot. Once you lost 127, we should see around this 81.29. I had this level for some reason. And as long as that holds, look, you have earnings coming around the corner. Can it come lower? Yeah, it's going to be going lower if it goes below 81, and that's going to be obvious. And then it could be into the low 60s or even lower. The next spot is not until 55s, 56s. But as long as it's holding 81, that should act as support. You can fill this to 85, but you're going to have earnings coming around the corner. It doesn't actually look that great, quite frankly. But again, this is one of those stocks where like, if you have the long enough time horizon, this is a spot to start picking it up. Don't, without even trying to attempt to snipe a low, like don't do that. And then if it goes much lower, cool, wait till sub 60. Okay. But this has got to get over 100 to be like over 105 to be somewhat considered back in an uptrend or done going down. And when you do get that, you should see at least 133. I'll just put this on. So I'm over time, but it's 98. It would have to get over like this, hold. Then you should see this here. And then if you get over 133, you should see 153. And that's the trading setup. So 98, if it's over 98 and holding after earnings, then it's on the up and up, but not before then.
Micron.
Short squeeze. So squeeze through. This was at center line 407. I think we hit it yesterday. And then this morning, I was in a trade on this and I was like, okay, we'll pull back. And I'm like, I should go long. Like right here, I covered right here, but I didn't go long. And I was like, so pissed. It's like, I missed the long. Are you joking? And because this was the pivot on the fat cow Micron. Literally right here, if I pull this back, you can kind of see it. Like this is where a lot of pivots happen. This is like the higher end of the center point. So everybody that was getting short into this area in the past here, essentially got squeezed out, and that's 431.27. That triggers a move to all-time highs. And at this point, you just have to be concerned about that 476. But if you pull back, as long as you're holding 455, that's a break and retest. If you can hold 455, it's a break and retest, and then you're in the 500s. You just still want to be cautious of another look above and fail, which is this. We had a look below and fail, so we have this on both sides now. So it's in kind of what we call price discovery. This can do that, and then you could have this again, and it can still go in the box. So it's you want to see more out of Micron before you think it's like ready to roll, because a lot of price discovery is going on here for the cow Micron. Moo.
SanDisk, which seems like it got the NASDAQ bid in terms of getting included in the index.
Extension complete here. 955 is what I had on this this consolidation break. So this is not what you don't want to see on Micron, and this is what good would look like on Micron. So you're up here and you have a little bit of a pullback, but eventually break through on an overnight session, maybe a gap, and then you have a gap, and this is called a gap and go, and you're going to 830, 876, and ultimately 955 or 945. At this point, it's not holding that level, so expect to pull back into 867s. In this area is what you'd want to see it hold. It can create another consolidation phase between 835 and like $100 consolidation phase, which sounds like a lot, but it's not for this stock. It's not until it's significantly over 950 that you're going into the 1165s, which would look like two stops like this.
CoreWeave.
You definitely don't want to lose 835 also. CoreWeave, I think, is a sleeper at this point. I mean, it's just such a big move. It's doubled off the lows, but I know you like Oracle. CoreWeave is broken its prevailing downtrend. It's broken. And it's through, I mean, 90s, 85 was like that big area to break through. It's on a warpath right now. This goes, if this holds 115, this is quickly 135, quickly 135. And that is CoreWeave right now. That doesn't have resistance for a while, but it is, again, another one that's in an active short squeeze. Congrats to Jose. I'm sure, wifey is very happy with him. I'm very happy for them right now. But we have support below. So you're very small resistance area around right now, but anything higher, this is going to actively squeeze. And I would expect if this is done, you could see a large pullback. And this, again, one more stock that could experience a large pullback, but still be a long trade on something like this. So this one is turning the corner, bullish to bearish, or bearish to bullish setup. It's buyable on dips.
Oracle.
This is your favorite, right? Oracle.
I didn't think it deserved 130s. I didn't think so. It didn't deserve 350s either a while ago, but I feel like
So then what does it deserve? I could tell you what it would go to. And then the question is, do you sell it?
The average price target is 245. I don't think it's crazy to see this back to 180, 195 by the end of the year.
No, it's not going to stop there. So it'd be 206, just over 200, and up to 232 from a technical perspective. It doesn't have that trigger yet. This is the last earning spot, 178. So at the 178 like 7 level, you're just now creating a lower high. So you're not out of the box yet. So if you're thinking that you're late on Oracle, you're not. This is not even started yet, quite frankly. I know it's a big couple days, but from a chart perspective, you got to zoom out, look left, and you'll see like this hasn't actually started. It doesn't start until it's comfortably over 170 and change. And when that does happen, sure, you'll see 180 or 190s, high 190s, low 200s. And that would be a typical counter trend bounce on Oracle here. So let me just get another quick spot. Yeah, up into the 240s for sure. If you get over 170s.
That'd be a big move. It was at 170 on earnings. If that actually,
this is literally what I'm talking about. So if you see these kind of things ahead of earnings, this is not a large mega cap stock, I don't think. Actually, it is $470 billion company. Say Oracle turns around and a handful of these other like large cap stocks turn around. I'm telling you that they haven't even started yet. Like if these things, after having 20% runs, like they haven't even started, if these things like start actually 25% turning the corner, how do we not see a massive short squeeze? That's kind of my point. You're like, oh shit, okay. When I start looking at these things, if they go any higher, then they begin, and then the squeeze is really on. We started the squeeze a few days ago, but like it's not stopping.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the fact that this is the best stretch since 2009 for the broader market. I mean, at rising tide lifts all boats at that point, right?
I love this pivot machine gun. Yeah, Rambler. Yeah, that's a setup. We're talking about inverse PMG, or like when basically everybody that was short Oracle, as we go, what happens is that if you start taking out highs, anybody that was short equity will say, okay, I have a stop loss. Just like you have a stop loss when you're going long, they have stop losses when they go short. And like anybody that was shorting up here is just moving their stop loss down. And you have something like this, and they're just moving their stop losses down. It's a 172. It's going to trigger a chain reaction of shorts being stopped out, which is essentially longs coming into the market.
Right.
And this is in the chart right now.
ZETA.
Had not gone anywhere. I mean, as long as holding 15.5, this is fine. It's just not anything like 1780, 1786, 1780, 1779 is your upside move. This is a bullish. What do I have here? Yeah, this is a bullish retracement from $10 lows to $25 highs. This is the golden pocket right here. It's not really acting right. I'll say that much. But as long as it's out of its initial down channel and kind of retesting, so I think it holds. And you could see 1780 in short order. If it's over 1780 and through this extra hump in here, then we have a whole different deal. But it's setting up. You have pretty clean support around the low, like mid 14s. These are the spots, right? So 1, 2, 3, and a big one here. So these are your ranges from a trading range that you would have these big runs. So I would expect these areas to be areas of runs and then a rest and then a run and then a rest, run, rest, run, rest. This is not, it's not like a short, but it's still like a show me a little bit more long.
Yeah, I think they need to have a really good quarter. They've already had 18 very good quarters. They need to follow it up again in the midst of the SaaS carnage. And I think you get a re-rating. I think it gets back to 20, 25 bucks. But
that's exactly on the chart, as long as it holds that trajectory.
Yeah.
It's just a big box. So looks good. I mean, it's a lot of percentage wise if you're an equity trader. It's probably worth a trade. Looks like I might have a squeeze starting soon. Nah, maybe.
The short float on this is 11%. So there is some shorts in it. IREN.
IREN we've had on the map for a while. I took a trade on this. So like, I think we talked about this last week. Coming out of 33, we can get. I was like, we could get up to 45 if we're over 35 or 45. Then you have a flyer on your hands, and I think this is it, right? So as long as this moving forward holds 42, 41 and change, you're very good on track for 55, 60 bucks.
Are you in this right now, or you're out of the trade?
I have a small position in this, and I bought Cypher and IREN equity, but they're trades. So the trade is going. I'll just move my stop up as it is. These are ones where like, dude, you're up quite a bit on these. I have some things that I'm a little bit more interested in right now that haven't gone. Like I'm very much into the next chipset and like where I think AI can go next. And the next wave of money, where I think that is going to happen, and I don't see it here. But from a trading perspective, this trade is live.
Okay, yeah, you and me are both in this one then for equity. Adobe.
Yeah, same thing. So like, you're still not out of its own way. You need to hold 231. So like you have a low here. So high, low. It says one more lower high. This one's not necessarily done either. So this is what I mean by not all software is fixed. But also, if you really believe in Adobe specifically for the next 10 years, you start buying. Like you just start buying from here down. So that from a trading perspective, and that's without even attempting to call the bottom. At best case scenario, 231.53. You want to watch for that. That's what we call like a price of interest. I call it price of interest, not a technical term. It's just a JSON term, which is essentially here's the last low. The low before the last low creates this little pocket in here. So if I see Adobe pull back and hold in between 231 and 227.5, and I see it coming out of that like this, that would set up a trade near term. I would not take this, but it would set up a trade for something probably like this. That could be a pretty good risk reward. What is that? 12%, but a trade.
Okay. AMD.
227. It's over. This consolidation is outperforming NVIDIA, I think. I think
so. Oh yeah, from the lows. AMD year to date is 14. NVIDIA year to date is not 14, it is 4.
So this whole conversation, that relative strength conversation coming in play one more time. You're back at the highs. This is that consolidation here that we kind of outlined before. You broke through at the 227 mark, which was that prior all-time high from here. That was so important. Again, it's a high beta name. It can move quite a bit, but as long as it's holding this 227, it can even retest 227. But if you see AMD retesting 227 and holding, it's very likely a long, something like this, and you have that consolidation. And this is to that 300-ish area if it breaks through. Active squeeze.
So, okay, so a lot of these you think are just squeezing up at this point?
Yeah, if it goes any higher, that's over 260. Like this whole thing was an active squeeze. It is an active squeeze. So I need to see sellers really start stepping in. On the right-hand side of my screen, you really probably cannot see it, but if I made it a little bit bigger like this, like you'll start to see where liquidity disappears. It's very one-sided. So like in here, this area, in here, these are squeeze zones where it actually squeezed $5 right here, completely one-sided, all short covering right there. Over that 227 also, over 222, it looks like active short covering. And it's getting thinner the higher that you go. But like I said earlier, it doesn't mean it has to stop. You just want to monitor that it's continuing its momentum. These are momentum plays at this point. It doesn't matter fundamentally what the valuation is. It's like the stock, it has momentum right now. You just want to make sure it keeps it. If it loses it, expect that it loses momentum. And then you have those lower areas that could get filled in. But until we're trading towards those, they don't have to.
CRDO.
Did you see my post? I was like, I bought
Dude, I am okay. So this stock, we'll talk more about this later, but this stock and the move it pulled yesterday is getting me interested in another stock. But this entire photonics thematic is really getting some excitement here.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it was 20% on an acquisition and they were the ones acquiring the company and they still got a 20% move.
Also, it's copper, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
So, yeah, I had to trim some today. Not a joke, but it's still got legs. It possibly still has legs. This thing, I wasn't expecting that big of a move, but this Arista and Astera Labs all at the same time, like once this is breaking through 120, you know that this is a massive upside squeeze. This one just had the news catalyst right into overhead resistance. If this is over 165, it's going to have a 2 handle in front of it. This is what it is. 29 billion market cap. Not that difficult historically to see that kind of a move, but the big move I think is over. So this is more like a grinding session. After that, I can see 178 pretty quickly, and then ultimately like 196s or so. But that is CRDO, and yeah, this 170 is your upside initial resistance, and then maybe it slows from there. But as long as it's holding 150, this is perfectly fine. You just don't want to see it lose 150. So 150 is your support, very short term.
ASTS.
This one is on GSAT.
Yes.
Basically. So again, ASTS, it's doing exactly what it needs to do, technically speaking. Over 79, you should see 88, and then ultimately 105, 104, which is exactly where it happened to stop. It usually ends up working out that way. But that's what the chart said. Anyways, if you didn't get through 105, you weren't going to get to the 110s. Here now, exactly here now, 88.96 is where you want to see it stop. If it doesn't stop there, your support is not until 77 one more time. But if this goes sideways for a little bit, this chart is not broken. It's still fine. It's still on a trajectory to 112, but this is just a retest from a technical perspective at 88s right now.
Okay. Navitas and NVTS.
This one I have not looked at in a minute.
They pumped to 17 back in November, I believe.
Yeah, this is just high traffic area up to the 10s. It's over 10 that it gets squeezed you to like 13, 14 bucks up in here. This is available. But it's got a first stop at 12.35. So
20% short on this one too.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm a fan of this one specifically. Probably just because they don't know enough about it. But if it does get through some of these levels, basically over 11, you have room to 14 on a squeeze.
Netflix.
Hey, Netflix. I don't know. Did you buy it or did you not buy it?
I did not buy this one. I did not.
I
But
mean,
retail did. I mean, it's a top 10 holding on Robinhood.
Yeah, so 105 is so it's at the 200-day simple moving average right now. That's good. Finally, you get a real name. So all the bad news is really forgotten about here. So that's what I would say the risk is. 113 is where it broke down from before. So as long as it holds 104.5, we could get another leg up into that 113.5 area right here, just like that, which is that prior, this is the broken support. So where broken support failed, I would expect this to act as resistance, but if it can get through 114, this becomes like a really interesting play. But I don't see how it could do that after earnings. Honestly, my gut would say that it goes sideways. More likely situation is that it does go sideways, but yeah, we'll have to see. This is let me do this really quick. Yeah, I'm right into resistance. Well, I call it 115, but if it gets through 115, yeah, I mean, if it gets through 115, then that broad uptrend is reclaimed. Like if I pull this back on a daily, this white line here, that channel, it's essentially just, it's been reclaimed and there's nothing wrong. So it can chop like this, but eventually that's like the trajectory.
I love that retail really called BS on the Warner Brothers acquisition.
Actually, I'm so happy.
I mean, 30% up. Yeah, because I mean, retail was like, there's no way in hell they're gonna spend $90 billion on this shit, which they almost did. They almost did.
They almost did. Yeah, we'll see. There's still not a lot of good Netflix shows coming out that aren't like, I don't know. What are you watching on Netflix right now?
Scandal.
Who?
You never seen Scandal?
No, you'll have to.
You never seen Scandal? You don't know who Olivia Pope is?
Scandal, dude. Don't get on me about the guy who doesn't watch shows. For the guy that doesn't know half the movies out there.
Scandal is a top 10 show of all time, dude. That's quite incredible. Okay, let's do this one. Fastly. So this is one we talked about over the weekend. I do not have a position in this. I think you bought a little bit.
I bought yesterday and today, and then I'll keep buying also. But
okay, so,
yeah.
So what do you think about the chart, but also what do you think about the company in general?
So I used to have a large position in Fastly from way back. Like all of this, I was in this. So Fastly, I like as a company. They're a CDN or content delivery network. There's a conversation. It's about the edge. It is the edge network, and this is one of the parts where I think like there's probably some serious opportunity that's still there. API calls. Every time AI does an API call, it runs through essentially a Fastly equivalent. There's three major CDNs. It's Fastly, there's Akamai. Cloudflare is smaller, but it has a smaller part of their business as Cloudflare. But the way that this is working from an AI perspective is that there's a lot of caching going on at the edge. So like we all know that AI's biggest bottleneck is high bandwidth memory and power. And Fastly kind of solves a lot of that high bandwidth memory issue. So for that reason, I like Fastly and the solution that it specifically brings at the edge. Also, so that's like an exponential potential move on Fastly. It's not even close to baked into the price. What's somewhat baked into this price to me at $3 billion, give or take, is the fact that edge traffic of those API calls that I just mentioned earlier I think AI does 100x more API calls than a human being. And across all the earnings calls for anybody in that space, all the CEOs are like, yeah, it wasn't necessarily in the forecast, but we're experiencing this massive growth in traffic. Fastly is a consumption model business. So the more traffic that goes through their networks, the more money they make. They don't have to spend any extra sales cycles or anything like that. Straight consumption based. It's more revenue, it's more margin, it's higher quality margin. And if you're bullish on AI, then it's a near certainty that the edge traffic is probably going to 10x or more in the very near future, not long-term future, like immediate future. So for those reasons, yeah, Fastly, if I were to take my pick, Fastly, Akamai, Cloudflare, again, it's still Fastly, and it's mostly because the market cap at $3 billion, we would 10x the traffic, 10x the revenue, 10x the margin. Not 10x the stock price. That's not the same. Their margin is small in comparison to a lot of other companies that we have available to trade, but the opportunity is priced in, but I don't think the certainty of that happening is priced in either. And so for those reasons, like, and so my experience with Fastly, having been in it in size in the past, is like, Fastly moves so fast that, like, in these moments, these are the moments that I need to build into the position, because once it goes, it just doesn't stop. And I need to position myself for that here now. So Fastly, right here, right now, I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer down to 17s. And that would be like a perfect retrace. Plus on their last quarter, they had everything lined up. It was their first profitable quarter in like 6 years. Their footprint as a CDN or content delivery network is small. I think they have 80 pops versus like Akamai's 4,000, but their points of presence, their business model is such, like, their tech is faster, better, and geographically at very strategic points in the globe where it would capture the most traffic.
So you would say it's not a traditional SaaS company either?
It's not a traditional SaaS company, no. It is a SaaS company. It's cloud native. It's cloud native CDN. It's a very hardware intensive company, which is why their margins aren't as thick as you would typically see. But when they scale at like a rapid pace.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I like this building in here, because when it goes, like, this could be $45 very quickly. It could be a lot higher than that if the thesis of caching at the edge to save HBM and things like that, which is already a best practice, you could be talking about in this area again, or if we go crazy, maybe higher. But anyways, yeah, I like it.
CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike is, I mean, it's holding 375. This is as security gets decimated here. So when software goes down, it's going to take out your high multiple SaaS names first. High multiple SaaS, regardless of the quality. This sits directly in that line of fire. It's trying. I think this one you're going to have to wait a bit. It's going sideways right now, so it's consolidating. So you have a run here, you have a run here. You're currently in a rest phase here, but this rest phase isn't going to be over until you're over 450 or below 365. So the box is pretty big that it's resting in. And when you have that kind of a scenario, we usually say, like, trade the edges, and the edges being just below 370 and not adding around 450 or close to 450. Right here, you're like right in the middle, so it's probably okay. But if you get like 365, as long as this doesn't fully like capitulate to the downside, this is going to act. This is your primary support near term.
Palo Alto Network. I would imagine you think the same.
Yeah, I think the same. It is the same for sure. Yeah. So like overhead resistance 170, downside support 142. It's in a rest phase. So again, if you're gonna accumulate, you want to accumulate as close to 150 or below as you can. Basically, that 200-week simple moving average. If it starts really getting through, multiple days, a week or two over 170, then you're back on the mend. This one is good quality. Like, it honestly has not pulled back that much. It's down from the highs, but
this one's actually not been decimated this year, to be honest.
No, it's 40% here, but like, honestly, I could say the same thing. Like NVIDIA could have been 40% down, but like in bear markets, these things will get absolutely wrecked. We don't know that we're not yet, but like, if these things, again, one thing, like, if we're over here, another name, this is quickly going to be $210. again, like not a small company. You see a company like this recover, you see Oracle recover, you see this company, that company start to recover. Yeah, this could be an epic squeeze on at the index level if these things happen.
Grab
had a good day today, didn't they?
Yeah, I think
Yeah. So, I mean, all good in the hood, man. Just trail and scale if you want to. This would be 5 at a counter trend bounce, but you're gonna have earnings soon. It has not started either. The support held 350s, has not started yet. Yeah, over 4 you start, and you start pretty quickly to 5, 480s. But you're gonna have earnings between now and then.
Yeah, I think that earnings will be important. The oil prices obviously have been a massive headwind, but I mean, if oil prices start going down, that could also help.
I think that's like that whole thesis is probably like they think it's been a massive headwind, but when you think about this, there's no shot that any CEO when we get to earnings says, "Oh, we're gonna have to lower our capex or lower expectations because of oil prices." Nobody's gonna say that. This is the problem. Like as we get into earnings, nobody's saying that. Why would they say that? Like it's gonna be.
No, you're right about that. It's for Grab. They have to subsidize their drivers, so higher oil prices means more incentives. That's why it specifically affects them and C Limited and all those guys. But you're right. The Max 7 aren't going to give a shit about oil.
They're not going to say. And that's the other thing. The data center spend is like it doesn't care about $200 barrel oil. It ain't going to slow down. I mean, and if it does, they're not going to say it on this quarter. Maybe next quarter or maybe the quarter after that, but they're not going to say it this quarter.
I mean, dude, OpenAI raised $120 billion in the middle of a war. Like, people are ready to keep throwing money, and the private markets aren't afraid of giving OpenAI more money. So, yeah, you're right. ONDS. By the way, Hood hit 80 after hours for the first time in a while. Oh, God. Nice to see it. Nice to finally see 80 again. There you go.
Should we buy some more right now?
I
don't know. There's a lot of other things I want.
I'll buy one share if you buy one share.
Okay.
Are we both gonna do it right now?
It's $79.99.
Yeah, it's 70. I see 80 on some brokers, but not on Robinhood itself.
Yeah, if I can get
honestly though, when we get billed, it'll be 80.
You hear it?
Guaranteed.
$79.99.
You did it?
I got $79.98. 22222.
I'm swiping up.
He was swiping up.
I got $79.98. Did you tank it? Now it's $79.95.
No.
We're so degenerate. We're trying to buy it at a higher price just to say we got it at 80.
Okay. All right. ONDS, yeah. So drones. So 850 is support here. If it's over 10 and change, that's your resistance. I think you're kind of stuck in this box. This I don't know how much the war is going to affect this guy, but it's kind of keeping a lid on it for right now. It's broken. It's consolidation. So the consolidation was here, and it's broken down through that, retested it here, and locking another lower high. It doesn't look that great. It's probably a war thing. Yeah, this is it's technically sideways, but it doesn't look like it wants to go higher right now. It's technically sideways, but also I would say it's more inclined to go down in the near term than up.
ELF.
What's up with the consumer stuff? I mean,
people are in love with ELF and Nike. I don't get why, but they are. And
just own it. If you like it, just own it. Don't chart it, because it's not going to make you happy. You have a higher low. You price discovery for sure. Double top low. Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing here, dude. It's a gamble.
I want to know why buy ELF when we have tech discounted still, even after the run. Like, that's my question. And
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know
this could be a
about ELF.
trade. This could be a trade into the 80s, mid 80s, but that's coming into earnings late next month.
But it's the same with Nike. Like, the catalyst was supposed to be the tariff is the Supreme Court. That did absolutely, it was a sell the news. It didn't do anything. So I'm wondering what is the catalyst besides earnings, like macro wise, and I don't know.
Yeah, it is over its 20 today, but that's like a counter trend bounce into that, like I said, 80s at most, and then it has to really hold it. So you got to see a lot of things happen here for this to turn the corner, as in, like, you have to see this. You basically have to get over 100.
We got 80 after hours. You pumped it, Jason. 80.25. We all pumped it.
Shit.
There she goes. $80. Okay, cool. SMCI.
Just trying to fill the gap. I mean, depends on when you bought it. It's coming in resistance. This is one where it's like, to me, this is right thesis, wrong leadership. I mean, you got a CEO and active legal issues, company still under investigation, but the company's in the right spot doing the right things. Normally, if it was any other CEO or any other leadership, this thing would be booming. It would be looking like Dell. The margin is not, it's thin in general, but it's because it's a very purpose-built company. So it is what it is. The thesis has never changed on SMCI. It's just the leadership that kept screwing it up. That's the problem. So I don't think there's any question of whether or not these guys are doing good. Like, they're probably booking deals left and right, but the market just still doesn't care. And if you buy into SMCI, you're literally taking that bet that eventually the market will look past the leadership and the legal issues and give it a premium one more time, which if it was any other company, it probably would. But these guys can't get their shit together.
Hood, by the way, 80.80. She's getting a little move. Bloom Energy.
Dude, this is you're right into it. So I had it skipped my 180 resistance here and just went straight into 220. So yeah, it skipped it. Gapped straight through right into the targets. It's disgusting. So this what I'm talking about here is this consolidation break. That's the double, clean double right there. But yeah, I mean, as long as it was holding 150, that would have been in the cards. Just maybe not that fast. It got there very quickly. So now 220 market cap here, 61 billion. It's still, I don't know, that has to stop. You can take a breather and maybe trade in between this area and start to fill some of the stuff up and go sideways for a while. But eventually, that, as long as it's holding 184, it does not have to fill this whole gap. It's not how this works. But if, as long as it's holding 183 in change, it can stay up here. And then if it's over 220, basically, if it's over today's highs, then it's 250s, high 250s, up to 300.
ASML, which is tomorrow morning.
ASML. Yeah. I mean, this is tomorrow morning.
Yeah. How much is it up here today? I think it's like 30, a little bit more, 40, 30.4, 30.4.
It's literally all-time highs right now.
Yeah.
So we are here. Let me just get this one. I didn't have this one. But yeah, this is a pretty important section, 1640s, 1640.
I mean, does the chart tell you that, let's say the earnings are good, is the chart ready for a move, or is this like a price?
No, it's already in a move. The chart is already moving. Yeah, as long as it's over 1450, it's already moving. This should be 1640 with or without earnings tomorrow. If it's below 1378, all right, well, then we could retest into the 11s. But that's what I mean. Like from an earnings perspective, if you lose this, then you can come in here to the 11s, retest, and then eventually probably end up building back like this. But you're still going to be on that trajectory. This is a retest of this prior all-time high, and that 1640 extension is essentially taking this consolidation and doubling it. And if I wanted to triple it, it would be up here. So that's where I got the 1640 from. This is a normal move. And again, as long as it's holding 1450, I should expect that happens. In the meantime, if I get a pullback, even though this is a massive percentage pullback, that's 30%. If ASML pulls back 30%, it's not a sell. Depends on your time horizon, I guess. That could be a buy spot over there. In the meantime, these are very short-term support areas between 1475 and 1378. But the trajectory is real, if that's what you're asking.
VG.
So this is got on pause, 1270s or 12 and a quarter is the downside that I outlined a while ago. Natural gas, to me, goes in the data center bucket. I don't think if you were in VG for the war premium or nat gas, you shouldn't have been. But if you like it, yeah, in between 1170 down to 10 is support. So you can, if you want to pick it up, you're looking for support to hold in this 1170 down to just under $10 zone. This is support here. And again, to me, nat gas is actually what is going to power all these data centers. It ain't oil, anyways. It's certainly not coal, and to me, it's certainly not nuclear this decade. Maybe next decade, it's nuclear, but there are a lot of ways to play nuclear. Anyways, so, but it is nat gas.
TSM.
Yeah, so TSM. 30 billion still expensive. Same thing, dude. 1.6 trillion, 1.63 trillion. So these are all right at resistance. You can see pullbacks tomorrow. It's all going to be based on ASML. But, you know, I'd let the dust settle and these will be buys later. I don't care what they say. But unless you hear on the TV, if it's not the Strait of Hormuz, but you hear something about the Taiwan Strait, that's the only time I would actually be a little worried about TSM and the entire broad semi sector as a whole. If you hear the Taiwan Strait on the news, yeah, watch out. That's the one. But otherwise, no, this is right at resistance. So like I would expect some kind of chop or pullback, but this is on trajectory here.
Yeah, and I think if ASML does well, it sets up TSM to have a good one as well.
Yeah, as long as China doesn't go into the Taiwan or block the Taiwan Strait. But in that case, you have Intel, so or Global Foundries or whatever else. I don't know.
Well, let's do Intel because that one's just been crazy.
Yeah, Intel, I was like trim day today. Well, only because it's I hate when they go like right to your target so fast, so quickly. But again, you're all right. They're all at the same spot. They're all right at resistance up here. This doesn't have to turn around. In fact, I mean, it held pretty well. So if it's here, I would expect at least a little bit of like hesitation. This has earnings again at the end of the month. 75 is upside trajectory here for the all-time high, or not all-time high. Oh, what is that? All-time high. I do go in the way back chart machine. So here we are on the way back chart. At 75.95, will you do me a favor and say congratulations? If you held Intel for the last 26 years, you are now break even. Will you do one of those?
That's kind of crazy though, right? This is the stock market can be very, like Intel's up 80% this year, and it took 26 years if you didn't buy at the lows.
Oh no, you're still down, dude. If you buy,
you're right. You are still down. Yeah,
you're still down. You're still down 15%.
That's pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible. But yeah, this can set up for a pretty wild move. So 75 is on deck. If you get through 75, well, we know what happens. But so that's the trajectory that this is on, which is kind of why I was happy with it. Not that I think Taiwan's actually going to close the strait, or China's going to close the strait, but it's not. If it falls back. It's moving very wild. It's another just absolute short squeeze since 55 or 53. It is what it is. So it can pull back and hit that 51, not 42 necessarily, but 51 and a half for sure.
By the way, Hood 81.25. She's I don't think there's any news, so I don't know why she's moving, but she's moving.
You guys, you got to stop.
It's everyone but one.
I was gonna buy more. Oh my god.
Reddit. People think this one is prime.
It is prime. It's ready. Go ahead, buy it. I bought it, and I put a trade on for it. It's gonna.
Bought it today?
Yeah, for a squeeze trade. This any like a 155. So this is a timing thing. The squeeze is live. It's about to go live. Well, it is live. It's not in motion right now. We got earnings coming again, end of the month. I just don't think they're going to take it down. In the next probably 48 hours, you have the thing about Reddit is this can open up in a live squeeze tomorrow morning and close the day at 179. That's where we are. So 179 is very near term. It makes this trajectory very quickly. It is stopped going down. It's after breaking 147 support, it pulled back into the 120s, held 120. This is that same kind of golden pocket area from a retracement perspective. When it makes this trajectory, this is on earnings. It does this, and if we see it over 156s or so tomorrow, it's going to be on and cracking very quickly, and 165 is an absolute trigger immediately to 179, potentially higher. Yeah, it's ready.
Do you like this or Hood? If you had to pick between the two right now,
from a trading perspective, I mean, yeah, it's a toss up. I would. It's hard to say because I don't want to trade Hood, so like, I would just buy Hood. If I was gonna trade it, it's either this or MSTR. But yeah, so this one over 190 activates up to 280, 238 on a bounce. Very close as well here, but must hold 177.50.
Okay.
Bitcoin looks like it's gonna squeeze too. But I mean, yeah, it could be a sucker rally easily. Also, so all of this can be like one of those like big sucker rallies, like easy. But from an investment perspective, you shouldn't care about that either, because yeah, they'll probably pull back, but when they pull back, they might be higher. By the time they're done pulling back after the move, they might be higher than where they are now. That I don't know. So if you're over 76.1, 76.072, you should be 78.5, very short order. Over 78.5 activates the squeeze into 88s. So I'm basically saying here now up to 88, which is 18% with your 70,000 rough number as your near-term support. Right in here, between 68,750 and 70,800 is your support. So this can build, this can continue to build. It's not active yet, but it can continue to build. Once you're breaching here, breach here, that's how you're going to get this.
Right.
Yeah. So I was hoping for another dip to 65. No,
dude, we've had enough of the dip, bro. We've had enough of that shit. I'm ready to move on from that nonsense.
Let's be real. What can happen is that you can get this. That's what a sucker rally looks like. For real. So this is a counter trend bounce. It's tradable for sure.
On Bitcoin?
25 is the floor. 25 is the floor.
No, but in this macro, I don't think 40.
25 is the floor, dude. I don't care what you think. I love you, but 25 is the floor.
I mean, bro, we barely went below 64 this entire cycle.
Exactly. You think the cycle's over? Dude, it's not done.
Over. I'm just saying, if you don't have a war anymore, it feels more bullish than bearish.
You know what? This is a good spot to nibble. Anyways, that's what I would say. And for this moment, it's not going down as long as it's over 68 or whatever it was. And I can see easily a move up to just under 90, which would potentially be a higher. Then it could do this. Shoot, it could do that. It could do this. You don't know. Like, it could do all of that. But the floor is 80% off the highs on any cycle, which is, this is where I sold my shenanigans, right over here. 14, there it is. $14,000 here. And I was right. Look at this. $3,700 floor, 72% drawdown. Wasn't wrong to sell it, but like, dude, I didn't crap that.
For all those asking why Hood's pumping, I don't know. There is no news.
It's a myth. He literally is pumping the stock right as we speak.
I think we all bought like one or two.
It's very possible.
I actually think we all, like, it's low volume for sure after hours, but
yeah,
I don't know.
So anyway,
we get a Hood back to 100. Oh my gosh.
Are you gonna sell it though? No, that's the thing. I'm not selling it if it's 100.
I'm
not gonna sell it if it's 160, dude. I'm not gonna sell it if it's 200.
I get it, but the fact that we haven't seen triple digits in basically 4 months, like, it would be so nice.
Do you sell it at 1,000 though? I don't know.
1,000 is $1 trillion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, probably less. It's probably more than $1 trillion now after the buyback.
I think I'd sell. Yeah, I would like.
Why? What if it won't be done?
Jason's like, well, if inflation keeps going up, $1 trillion.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
No, in general, but like, in all seriousness, if Hood actually pumps, it's more indicative about the market than Hood.
Yeah,
because that means the market. The day trading rule stuff was 6 hours ago. That news is old.
That's a big deal, actually.
It might be a big deal, but that's not the reason it's pumping. Not right now. Bernstein gave an upgrade at 9 a.m. By the way, Bernstein had a 170 target. They reduced it to 130. Then all of the analysts on Hood took down their targets by like 30, $40 over the past.
No, dude. Just say here, Technical Tuesday, we'll give you your targets. Yeah, they just catch up to us. That's it.
It's not an upgrade. It's not SEC. I think people are just saying we're back to a bull market. Potentially, that could be the reason it's pumping.
Yeah.
Since you're going. Hold on. People really care about Ethereum and BMNR because they have earnings. So can we do that real quick?
What are you talking about? Earnings?
BMNR's earnings in like 2 weeks. I know it doesn't really matter.
What is that going to matter?
It's not, but people care.
Don't care, people.
People are still gonna catch it. People want to know. So, are you bullish Ethereum here? If you're bullish Bitcoin, or
yeah, for sure. Like, so Ethereum hit very close to the level. I think that was the better buy of the two. I don't know that. I think it's actually since the bottom probably outperformed also, which is why like I'm happier with that one. I mean, 30%. Again, it hasn't even started yet either. This should be 3166 on ETH on a counter trend bounce easily. If it doesn't make it there, it's kind of a weak bounce. But yeah, this full downside target for now is hit. It could get up to 2750 is the first spot that this should at least try to get to. I think that's a given is what I'm basically trying to say. It's what does it do at this point that matters. Like, does it do this or does it continue on through 27.5 up to 3166, which would be a better bounce. That's more what I would care about. Like, so basically like what I'm saying on Bitcoin is that it should at minimum get close to just under 90. Ethereum should at minimum get close to 2750. That's a given to me here now. A layup. It's what they do after that when they get to these target areas in here that really matters. So if you like it, yeah, go ahead, dude, buy some. But more importantly, watch after this area, and you could trade against the recent lows. But honestly, like, why? Like, just if you like it here, like DCA, do your DCAs, and then plan another one late Q4. And that's honestly how I would play it.
Okay.
I can't call 4K here is what I'm saying. Like, no, you can't call that. Can it make the move up to 4K? Yeah, it can.
Dude, if we see 4K, Hood's back to 130, 140. Like,
so like that would be typical, right? Like that's the move it makes from the bottom of the box. This is literally what we call trading the edges. If you're in a consolidation, you trade the edges, you buy down here, right? Like if I clean up, I take up all these charts, like here's your box here. You literally just trade the edges. So meaning you buy down here and then you sell, let me just, what's orange? Sell up here. And that is 4K off of 2K. And that's your tradable range. It's very normal. Getting halfway to whatever this is, 3K, that's literally what I'm saying should be a given. And if it can't at least make it halfway, that's very lame. So that's where I'm at on these guys.
okay. Celsius.
She got a bid. This is why I don't want to sell this thing. Oh yeah, see it bounced, but it's very lame bounce. I have a Red Bull today. Almost not buying the Celsius. Yeah, I'm not selling it. It's I think I'm break even on this right now. Your mid-tier support, it can go lower. You can see 25 again. I wouldn't pick it up unless I saw 25 again. But if I did see 25 again, I probably would nibble a little bit. This needs to get over 38. If it's over 38, we instantly see 45. If we're over 45, I can get my, $60, $70 price back one more time.
Google.
Trade against these lows, these local lows. This is the lag 7 becoming the mag 7 one more time on the Google. This is fairly constructive. The Google. So like we're at the highs. The only thing I would say, if you want to be concerned, you just watch. A lot of these charts have this kind of setup. I wouldn't worry too much about it because, again, you could pull back. But you know what they say about, what we say. They don't say it. We say about head and shoulders patterns. They're like the failed failed bearish patterns are the most bullish.
Do you remember the first joke I ever made on the channel when you were on about Head and Shoulders?
No, dude.
You don't remember it?
Do you?
Of course. What do you mean?
What do you mean, of course? You like put lock these away. What is it?
It was I don't know exactly the setup, but it was like it was like do you do TA in the shower and wash your hair while looking at Head and Shoulders? Because sometimes you need to.
Yeah, I think
it probably was a better setup, but there was a punchline.
It probably went right by me at the time too.
It did. No, it did. I remember. We got to find the clip. It was on the first episode we ever did. We're gonna find the clip.
And you are the relishing in your glory. And I'm like continuing to yap about a chart probably. So,
Head and Shoulders is a shampoo brand for those that don't know. That's why it sounds bad now, but when I pulled it off back, I'm gonna find the clip tonight.
That's all right.
We're gonna show it next week.
Yeah, I tell you, my wife got me a I don't remember if it was a Father's Day present or what. I think it was a Father's Day present. It was like the coolest, lamest gift ever.
What is it?
Fucking Just for Men. They have a lot of grades, dude. Like, dude, so bad.
For everyone asking why Hood is pumping.
Oh, bro, what are you doing?
I don't know.
You guys need to stop.
Kratos. Let's do some of the other drone ones.
I think you can nibble at Kratos 75s. So this can see 340 if it gets higher, it's gone, right? And if this goes and NVIDIA doesn't, then that's how Google becomes the largest market cap stock in the company in the stonk market, in the market of stonks. 4? It's 4.
400?
4.25. Yeah.
I mean,
what's the market cap if that happens?
400 would put Google at
20 to 30%. Call it 25%. That's yeah, that's it. That's 5 trillion.
That's 5 trillion. Yeah.
It's gonna try for 5 trillion if it gets over this.
You know, they have that SpaceX stake, right? I mean, I would take the under on it hitting 5 trillion this year, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does.
All right. What am I looking at?
Kratos.
I would just be like, dude, the war stocks, you want to buy them. It's a drone stock. You can buy it if you like it. And just know that you're not catching the bottom necessarily here. And if there's a ceasefire, it's probably going to be fine. But this is local support. It's just like this is support. If that's what you're asking, or whoever's asking, tier down to 65 is your support level. And I think you're fine. If you're losing $60, you're not fine, and you're coming down further than that. But this is fine. And you do want to buy these when they're not, L3 Harris, when they're not, God, this thing hasn't come down at all. NOC, when they're not like screaming at the highs because of some, geopolitical headlines. Sorry, I'm going to the real defense stocks, not the fake ones. These are kind of showing a little bit of weakness.
Can we look at Red Cat real quick too? People are curious about that one.
13s. This, I think you have to, on a larger time frame, it's kind of like a little channel up, like upward channel. So very volatile for sure. Like your supports in the 10s, resistance in the 18s. It's a big giant channel. Like it could be like this. That's basically what this stock looks like. It's like an EKG machine in an uptrend. It's wild.
Yeah, Weeble's up after hours as well, guys. So, I mean, I guess it's the pattern day trading rule, even though that's very old, but it might be hitting the news wires right now.
It's the idea of it has been around for a while. It actually going through, I didn't know that was happening. I should have bought more shares. Rude.
CNN, U.S. officials internally discussing details of a second meeting with Iran. Trump tasked 3 of his top advisors with finding a diplomatic solution to the war. Trump asked Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner with seeking a diplomatic way out of the war. Vance is expected to lead a potential second round of talks. Both sides have proposed a suspension in Iranian uranium enrichment, but cannot settle on a time frame, officials said. The U.S. also wants the dismantling of Iran's major nuclear enrichment facilities and the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, that's bullish. If they're ready to talk, that's also good for Hood. It's good for everything, right? Also, the IPOs has got to be good for someone in the chat mentioned the banks had record trading volumes, which means Hood could be pumping because the market's like, oh, Q1 was the worst retail trading is going to be this whole year. And they can look past the crappy numbers in Q1. Maybe
Hood is on my list for potential generational buy. And I think we just saw it. So you could have gotten worse, but you don't know, right? You just don't know when it's going to stop till it starts going up. It's very close, but yeah, you're already up a good chunk.
DoorDash.
I mean, I guess I have a Dash Pass. I don't know that. I guess wifey's using Dash Pass all the time still. Do you have a Dash Pass?
I do. I have Uber Eats. I don't have a Dash Pass.
Dash Pass. Well, that's a clean retest of 143. What that prior break here? It's a pretty clean retest, 142 and change. I think that looks like a tradable low. I don't have a break of structure here. If you can hold 145, 150s, that looks like a tradable low, actually. Yeah, this I don't think that this company is like doing very bad. It's 71 billion though. Extreme high multiple SaaS, I'm sure. Right in the crosshairs of what goes bad, but we use this crap all the time.
Hymns.
I think that squeezed, right? A little bit. It held the 19. That's all you need to know. So after that pop, from here to here, we measured this. 19 to 18 was that 50%. That's that golden little pocket pullback area. Perfect holds. Now you're up over 20. You're good. You're good for now. You should see. You want to see this actually breach through 25. If you can get through 25, you can see probably 30. So this is on its way to the high 24s. You want to see it get past that though. Next.
Eli Lilly. Have some record results with the oral GLPs, but
yeah, there's a lot of orals out there though. It's probably okay. It looks like sideways. It doesn't look like it's ready to go up. It hit that overhead resistance.
You own this, right? A little bit or no?
No. The only thing I bought recently is Pfizer, but that's way far out. Like Pfizer is like a 2028 plus positioning for. That's with like Metsera and CGen. There's a lot of ifs and a lot of things have to go right for Pfizer, but you get paid a little bit to wait. It looks okay. It doesn't look great. You'd really want this to stop here. Earnings is coming. See. This is more concerning than not.
Rivian.
I think looks okay. Holding support right off 15. It's where it usually holds. If you get squeezy, it's just in anticipation of earnings. Look, I haven't seen any R2s out, so I wouldn't expect this earnings to be a big thing. And any pop into the 20s between now and then is probably a little excessive. I still think this is the transition year. It's not the breakout year. So yeah, I think they got some funding, so I'm not really too concerned about the Georgia plant right now, but thesis not changing for me. If you want a bull case for a stock, $110 barrel in oil, I would not be surprised if I see $10 gallon of gas in California. And that's the market this summer. That's the market that matters for Rivian.
You used to like this name as a stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know anything about Poet?
Not really.
I'm curious your thoughts on the TA on this. This one's actually kind of interesting to me because it's one of the photonics names that hasn't run. Let me know in the chat if anyone's in this. I know Tess likes it. They got hit with some stupid short report today. It's like really stupid. Oh. But the call option volume on this, dude, people are buying $12 strikes for this week. Like, I think people think this is another AAOI or LWLG or something like that. And half their market cap is cash as well.
Oh. Well,
they do like 2 million in revenue, so obviously they're not doing.
Yeah, it's in the right space, so I could see it happening. I don't know if it's real or not. I'd have to do some more. I'd have to dig it up.
But chart wise, do you think this like a run to 9, 10? Do you see that here? Or
oh yeah, small cap,
why
cap, low float, $1 billion market cap. Absolutely, it's not a big because Davis can make that happen on his own.
I don't know. This is I mean, Credo. We saw what happened when they acquired a photonics company for almost 75% of the market cap of Poet.
Yeah,
it's interesting. This one's it's up 2%, or it's up 0.2% this whole year. You know?
Yeah, it's in the right space. I just don't know how good they are.
Yeah, me either. I haven't really looked into it enough to.
But yeah, it's set up for a squeeze, no question. Too. It can happen.
Okay.
Break. And I can
take a break.
Back.
Yeah,
just a quick one.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be right back.
Cool. All right. Back to just me in the chat, dude. Hood. I guess, guys, it's this freaking pattern day trader thing. Like, I guess that's it. I guess it's hitting the news wires. That's what's like. I mean, the fact that IBKR should be running too, right? IBKR. Wow, IBKR is down. That makes no sense. They're bigger than Hood. Why is Weeble and Hood getting it? Is the market like, yeah, everyone's degenerate enough to day trade on Weeble and Hood, but they won't do it on IBKR? That's weird. You should be seeing. SOFI also should be getting a little bit of a bid. I know that trading's not their biggest source of revenue, but that's what makes me think that's not the reason. But then again, Weeble with Hood. If it was Hood by itself, then maybe it wasn't, but Weeble together with it is helping good. D-Wave, whoa. Tess, is there news on that? Or is it just going to go? Obviously, Jensen did pump all the quantum stocks today, which was much needed and in tune with this bull market. I mean, like, you know, everything's participating today. IONQ is up 20. Google was up 3. APLD will do that as well. That's, wow, 14% move. Just had the best NeoCloud day. Yeah, IBKR has the most active traders. People trade on IBKR a lot more than Hood. Like, they just have more, like the account size on IBKR is significantly higher than Hood. So that is very confusing. Even Schwab should be running on this to an extent. It's not, this is a Hood and Weeble thing in particular. Yeah, Vance, I got the quotes from him. He just said at some conference, we're continuing to negotiate with Iran and the ceasefire is holding. CNN is also reporting that Trump asked Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner to continue seeking diplomatic ways to end the war. It looks like a second round of talks are happening, which is bullish, right? It should be bullish.
Bullish.
Someone says, when do you think the Rocket Lab run? What price do you think it would have to be to really start running? Like, for the train to leave the station, like $80 is
$78, $80, $78 and and 95 cents. Call it 79.
All right, let's do like 2 more picks, and then Jason, a lot of people said on Monday you had your own picks, so you can share a couple of them because people are curious.
I had my own picks.
Apparently, they're saying on Monday you had a lot of different ideas.
I was scrolling through a bunch of stocks, and I was just showing them that like it is a raging bull market, but only if you know what to look for.
Oh, so the same conversation we had. So the conversation we had over the weekend was just these AI infra plays.
The whole data stack, right? Like if you're going to pick stocks for a living, I think that like we all agree. I think that we can all agree that it's a bifurcated market, as in like part of the market is doing well, part of the market is really not doing well, i.e. Nike, Adobe, things like that. There are real companies that have real existential type risks with AI, but in AI, there are a ton of plays. Like you were over here talking about Nike or Adobe or even ServiceNow for that matter. Like if you like those companies, my point is that sure, slowly dollar cost average into them, but don't get caught up in trying to snipe those lows when there is a massive bull run happening in an entire cohort of stocks that nobody knows about. And those stocks are probably why we see so much relative strength in the small caps or the IWM index right now. Like why did IWM draw down so much lower than everything else? Why is IWM stronger than the S&P 500 and the Qs for that matter on the rally up? And it's that bifurcated market of when you think about AI and you think about like what specific companies will benefit from this like massive like additional compute, it's not just NVIDIA. Like, do you really think that all the money goes to NVIDIA and they just put it in their pockets? No, that's not how it works. They buy stuff. They have to build their products, and everyone in that downstream stack, I think, is a definitive beneficiary. What do I have this? So like I can go through this is CRDO. Right? I'll just switch to a weekly chart just so people see it. Like no drawings, right? So like, and I'll just scroll this to like Applied Digital. These are the data center neo clouds that all are part of it. Micron, we know. Western Digital. Does anybody know what Rambus is?
We talked about it last week, but
did we?
We mentioned it for a little bit.
This is ARM. This is ARM equivalent, right? We know CoreWeave, Celestica, right? This is networking also massive. We know NBIS, Oracle's maybe a small one. We got to go down. STX, Cipher is in the same one. HR's Air Test Systems. This thing is just disgusting, right? But this is test equipment, right? They have one onto like this, another one. This is in the AI stack. Cooling. Camtech, these are, I basically just went through, these are all mid to small cap.
Qualcomm. You like this one? We got to talk about this.
Oh, I bought the shit out of Qualcomm. Yeah. Lattice Semiconductor. So Qualcomm is...
Give us the pitch. Give us like a 2-minute pitch. Why is this a Marvell that's in front of us?
It is a Marvell. It's cleaner than Marvell. Do you know NPUs? Neural processing units? It's the next chip. So like we all know, and I kind of touched on it with Fastly, but we know that the bottleneck is the edge, and it's power and it's high bandwidth memory. That is a problem that the market knows that they know, like people in AI know is an issue, and that these companies are actively trying to solve. So like, well, yeah, Micron could be doing good, but like they're trying to fix that issue. And there's a chipset called neural processing unit that actually does that. They're specifically designed to sidestep that high performance, that high bandwidth net memory requirement at the chip level. This is not AMD right now. I mean, they'll probably have their own, but Qualcomm has two chips coming. One is the AI 200 chip, which has one customer, but that's the Saudi Arabia Sovereign Wealth Fund. They have the 200 megawatt data center build already contracted there. That's the first real one of these MPUs that's going to come out. You just have to look it up. Then there's AI 250 chip that's coming in 2027. This is the market sees Qualcomm as a 16 PE forward PE company that is really a mobile phone processor, right? That's what you think of when you think of mobile phones and that chipset, but it's really the software stack and it's the edge, right? It's like, and so they're taking that and they're essentially jumping into the data center. It's not even a pivot, but yes, they have a headwind of the Apple modem that's going to be going away, so it's maybe losing like $1 billion or so. But if there's a chipset coming that's going to solve a lot of the both power and memory problems right here, right now, from a risk reward perspective, this is very asymmetric. One, just as a semi, I can buy this at a 16 forward PE with there's no AI in this at all, right? Like nobody's going to argue that there's zero AI in Qualcomm. The smallest reminder of an AI 200 chip coming on earnings is just going to make this thing boom 180. And then if it actually shows up, let's say the difference is that there's no hyperscaler customers. If Qualcomm were to say, oh, we have a contract with so-and-so or so-and-so or so-and-so, you know, then that story is going to get exponentially different.
Oh, why would a Google buy their stuff exactly?
It would just be a partnership. Like, can you load those on GCP? Like, can you buy their chipset through GCP or through AWS? It would just be available because that chipset's for the edge. It's for the edge compute. Like, and it solves specifically the HBM issue and a lot of the power issue. But it's their attempt to get into the data center space because right now they don't have any. But and that chip specifically is not on their financials at all. So it's a bit of a call option, but you can pick up Qualcomm here now at an extremely perfectly fine
15 times earnings.
Yeah, so that's my point. Like,
well, hold on. What's their revenue growth? Is it decent or?
No, you stop. You're thinking about it wrong. If you go into that, you're looking at the wrong metric. I'm talking about a chip that's not on their finations right now.
I get it, but I'm still.
No, I don't think you get it if you're talking about that because the financials there's nothing. So Marvell had this shift. Marvell was different, whereas like Marvell was actually selling off parts of their old telecom business and things like that, right? And a year ago, or whatever, down here, this chipset, this custom silicon that we're talking about from Marvell was like $50 million in revenue. It was a pint size, like nothing burger on the financial statement. But what happened was that the growth is exponential. So like if you're picking stocks, that's what you have to look for. And if you're trying to use existing core financials, you're just going to miss it entirely because you're going to get stuck in this cycle of like trying to value it based on a slowing business model that has headwinds from Apple modems. I mean, NXPI is a similar deal. Literally right now, they have something very similar. NXPI, you mentioned IoT the other day. This is like AI adjacent. NXPI is more like for the cars, right? But they have like specific chips also here that would be for that same area. So like, what we know is true is that like there are certain stocks for the data center right now. Look at like SPX Tech. Nobody knows what the stocks that are still going. Like this NVMI Nova, nobody knows about this stock, right? Arista, we know. So the Arista, once we go into the edge, when I see Arista, Astera, and CRDO moving, I know that the market's now focusing on this edge, which is the network piece. And if they go one layer deeper, what I'm talking about, this MPU stuff is really going to come into play. KLA, look, KLA is like, you're not, no matter who makes the chip, the more complex, the closer to 2 nanometers we get, the more test equipment is required. Like a single misstep can start to cost hundreds of millions of dollars in this design layer. So like KLA, you're not, the gear is going to get more expensive, and it's more mission critical, right? All of these like microchip technology hasn't moved yet. Definitely gets a piece. ASML, I don't think like EUCs is ASML. Texas Instrument, all of this, Invent Electric. These are charts that when you look at this, Carrier Global, they haven't all gone, but the ones that are going, Broadcom, Synopsys, EDA software is a requirement, right? Again, the more complex these designs get, Cadence, Synopsys, you're not getting out like a chip without these companies capturing a good chunk of revenue and profit, right?
Do you think it's too late for a lot of these names, or no?
No, so like as I scroll through the ones, I think there's no reason that these stop, right? Like this does not look like it's going to stop. But did you miss the initial ride? For sure. Which gets me to my point of like, there are stocks, you're not too late here. Like this is just starting the next level. Like as you start getting to MTSA, Maycom, like, dude, did you know, by the way, that there's companies that Applied Optics, Corning, Light, Lumentum, all the optics plays get manufactured at the same spot? Did you know that? Like there's one source manufacturer that builds all the cables. You can buy that company. These are the data centers, the real data centers. Equinix is the real data center. It's not the shenanigans that we're talking about here. Keysight, more test equipment. Look at this. This is just gonna go higher. Like, and no, these haven't all gone. Train Technologies. This is just a list. We know SanDisk, that one's Fabrinet. We talked about Form the other day. Teradyne. These are all AI, like in the data stack. These companies, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like there are so many more that are still to come. I don't know if you guys know Mod. It's a liquid cooling company. Corning. There's so many more to come that are just Semtech, Samsara,
Amcor, that was a big one.
Amcor, ASX, right? ASX is the other one. Yeah. So this is also packaging, ASE. This is the other packaging play. It's in here, right? Like, dude, I could go as far down as saying like Freeport FCX is copper to the material. So, but you think about the supply chain or the amount of demand, if you will, that is created based on AI, from the token generation, from the request of the token, all the way down to the raw materials needed to build like the data center. Nucor is steel. This is a steel company. You don't think that AI is like in like the amount of data center builds that are going in here? I don't know, like what was US Steel Dynamics, STLD? Yeah. These are all Hub is Hubble. This is like data center building company. I mean, these are not, this is 28 billion. What is the other one? Dynamics, Dycom Industries, also right in there. This is all I was doing. I was literally just going through a massive list and be like, look, you probably get a little sick knowing that these, like when I show you these energy, these type of companies are AI beneficiaries. But if you're not looking or thinking like this, you're probably doing something wrong, because there are, look at this, massive $5 billion company. Yeah, it's $320. But MTZ. Look at this. These are all AI. These are all in the data stack. These are all companies that benefit directly from the data center build out. But you have to do the work and find them.
For someone asking the ETF that tracks a lot of this stuff, it's not perfect, but SMH is a pretty good way.
It's not in there. This is not yet. SMH is the semis, right? This stuff is not. A lot
of it is AI infrastructure. Yeah, a lot of it's not there. But I don't know if there's an ETF that, I mean, DRAM has old memory, but Jason's talking more about just every layer of the stack.
Every single layer, right? Iron Mountain is a data center. The other real data. This is the original NeoCloud, by the way. Do you know the stock?
You told me about this a while ago, but no.
I did. This is the original NeoCloud. Iron Mountain was taped backup, and they have been around for forever. But they essentially pivoted their business in 2021 to be just like outsourced data center because they used to be like used to send tapes to be backed up of your data to Iron Mountain. And
wow,
yeah, it's big time. Cadence. I bought Cadence and I bought a little Synapses. These are just good companies that no matter who you are, like what chip is being designed, they all go through these. Yeah, I'm just looking through. I mean, anyways, the point is that underneath everything, if you haven't figured it out yet, it is a raging bull market in the data center, like in the AI stack. You know this one?
Yeah, PLab. Yeah.
2.7. Yeah, this is like wafer stuff. Like you could probably even go into like lithium, Sienna. Absolutely, little pullback, but yeah, there's not a lot of reason for these things, SITM, to not continue. 11 billion just starting out of this breakout. And, it looks like it's way gone.
Do you know ACLS?
Yeah.
Chip design?
Yeah.
Do you like this one here? Or do you see the TA?
I don't like probably what part of the chip there is it used equipment? What is it? It also offers post-sales equipment service and support, spare parts, equipment upgrades. Yeah, I mean, this is right in there. So like the more complex the chips get, the more servicing the machines need and testing is required. I think this is perfectly fine. I don't know this specific company. So like what I'm talking about though, sorting through all these tickers is it's not a unique index. This index that I'm talking about, like if I were to make an ETF, it just does not exist. You can't, SMH is not the same. It does not exist. This is a, you basically have to make it on your own right now. But if you know enough, you know where to start looking. And let me see. I think I could go to here. I don't know if you can see this, but here, like it starts with thinking about end user has a request for the token, AISEC token life cycle, right? Then you go to like extra, then it connects to the system and then it goes into your, OpenAI, whatever it is, Claude, ChatGPT. ChatGPT then sends that request to the hyperscalers to be computed in the clouds, right? And that goes interconnect to the chip stack itself, which is actual NVIDIA, things like that. But those sit in facilities that have to be powered and have raw materials that create those facilities. This is the stack, right? So this is like the whole thing that you're kind of looking at, this whole demand layer back and forth both ways. There are companies inside this whole space. Long haul fiber, edge switching sits here, right? EDA software, architecture, IP sits here, right? Industrial fucking gases, switching, routing, intra data center optical connections, right? Fabrication, all of this test measurement, right? Construction, right? Grid, power equipment, all of this energy generation, right? There are power semis like monolithic power, things like that. Companies that just do rack assemblies, PCBs, right? Memory storage players, yeah, we already know those. Those are the basic ones here. But all this other stuff that chip design layer, right? Advanced packaging, here's your Amcor right there. There's so many other industries. These are industries that are massive beneficiaries that people don't naturally think about, that are in their own like raging bull markets. And I think that was my point. But anyways.
It is a very important and solid segue around what's been happening here, because you're right. There's just a lot of different tickers to look at that aren't affected by the war. Part of the reason I'm looking at Poet is because it's a photonics play in that GPU supply chain that hasn't moved, but looks like they're better than a lot of the other photonics plays in terms of potential.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, at this point, I think that the market doesn't really know either, like which one's gonna be better than the other. And I don't know that it really matters to that extent either. Cause like there are points in dude, we should be on Lattice. Fuck. This is a cheap semi too. There are points in the market where the market's not going to care, and they're probably just going to do like broad swath across the board. And I think that's starting to be like where we are. So while the Mag 7 is catching up, this whole theme is also still happening underneath, which is why I'm like, dude, and this data center build out stuff is like, it doesn't matter if oil is $150, like they're still gonna build this. And that's the one thing that makes it so hard to be bearish as much as I might want to be. It's just, I can be bearish at the index level. I can be bearish on specific stocks, but with this underlying rotation into a whole new group, this is going to blow the Mag 7 away, like into a whole nother group of companies that not many people know about, ENTG. It's just like, I don't know, man.
ENTG is Triple V had this one for a while. He likes this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Unless I think let's do this one last one. Apple. What do you think about this, which didn't move today?
Well, I think I think Apple's good. I think it sits literally, I think it's stuck at 260. When do they have earnings?
Probably in a month. No, maybe like 2 weeks.
Yeah, end of the month. So we're going to get into peak earnings. Oh, by the way, I think we did a poll last time, and it was either going to be a earnings webinar or a free, oh shit, I should give this to you, or a free like an NFT webinar.
Yeah.
We decided to do the earnings one. Dude, I'll have to post this link somewhere.
Just send it on Twitter or text it to me and I'll do it.
Can you
what?
Yeah, maybe you could update the
yeah, I'll put in the bio, the description as well.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, Graham Stephan, big real estate YouTuber, he just sold all of his real estate today and said, I'm putting it into stocks.
Dude.
Or at least his intention. Look at what he said. The reality of 2026 finally stripped my emotions away. My LA rentals are netting 4 to 5% after the constant background of taxes, insurance, repairs. Meanwhile, a treasury would give me 5%. It doesn't make sense anymore. I'm reallocating to a liquid portfolio that lets me focus on the work I love. It's kind of crazy, right? Like,
yeah.
Because there is a big debate between real estate or markets, and I think a lot of us care about market. I know a lot of people here do both, but the reason we care about markets is because you can do research and get way more than 5% if your research.
I just had a buddy call me like like an hour or so ago. He was like, asking about the 10-year yield and like where it could go, because apparently if it's over a certain percent or under a certain percent, then the rate can be like significantly different on the 10-year form right now. It was like what's the odds I get to like sub 4.2 on the 10? And I was like, actually pretty good right now. And so like, dude, you know.
Where's the link? Do you text it?
I'm testing it right now.
Okay.
I think, well, I'm going to give this to you and it better be the one. Thursday, April 23rd. Yeah. Right. So I got to do it to your Twitter.
Selling my rental and putting it into the stock market is the best thing I ever did. Yeah, it's definitely situation specific, but
if it's a single family rental, absolutely, because those things suck. Let me tell you.
My dad bought a house with his brother in 2009. I think like end of last year they paid off the mortgage after 15 years.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, it's stable and it's good, but it is not a big money maker. Like
it's not. No, I mean it's cash flow is what it is.
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, I think I found it. I think I sent it to you, but it'll be like how to trade options through earnings. So we have a system that I have used for I want to say 10 years. It's a long time, but I think it's close to that. Of like finding the absolute best stocks to trade earnings with, to trade options through earnings with, and the absolute best potential moves in the market. The thing is, like when we get close to earnings season, dude, we're gonna have. Did you know that there are gonna be there are gonna be weeks and days. Why can't I do this calendar? Where this is this week. This is next week. Next week is not even the big week. It's the week after that. I think. Look at this. There are going to be weeks very soon where we have like 500 companies reporting earnings in a single week. There's no shot that you could go through all these in a systematic way and find the best things to trade.
Yeah.
That's actually what we're going to teach. So I teach this, once every blue moon. And it's, if you even if you don't take a trade here, it doesn't matter. It will teach you about options. Like you could just go through this course and then your mind will be like, oh my God, like you see through the matrix on how options work in general. And maybe why you lost every one of your earnings trades in the past, but this will actually show you.
So this is free, and this is April 23rd, right?
Yeah, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So we'll do it like 4:30 Pacific. It's Thursday night. Yep, I think this is the link.
That's good.
So if you want,
that's
we
good
cap it out.
There's no big earnings that day, so that's good as well.
Exactly why. Yeah. So like that, it was specifically that day, and it's late enough in the season that people will be like, oh shit, because I think you have Tesla Wednesday, and then Thursday there's not really anything except for Intel that night, and maybe some of these, but it preps you. It's if we did it too early, people wouldn't realize that earnings season's coming. By the time Tesla and Netflix have already reported, they'll know, they'll remember, and it's just in time for the big daddy week of earnings right after.
Someone says if I don't trade options, is it still worth attending?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Like if you don't, because it's all about volatility. And I mean, you can attend it. Is that Connie? I mean, Connie can attend, but like what it teaches you is like how to define like where the stock should go. And then really what we're doing is we're identifying what is underpriced, what is overpriced from an option specific perspective. So it is very option specific. If you don't trade options, but you're interested in how options work, this is definitely, it'll probably be like drinking like through a fire hose, but quite frankly, like that's how you learn a lot of stuff. Like you just jump into the deep end and like everything else becomes like so simple after you see like what actual complex stuff looks like. Anyways, enough of the yapping for me. If you don't have a lot of people sign up because I only have a license for like I have 500. We usually max out, so I haven't even sent. Okay, hopefully I don't max out. I think we'll be okay.
I think it's a lot of this stuff goes into condors and butterflies and all this stuff to benefit from both sides. So I actually think it's worth.
Exactly. Yeah, it's actually like I don't do that, but I go through why I don't do that and where it's basically how to find the best trade structure
for any specific underline in a systematic way. And then it teaches you how to create a trade plan, because it's basically a system. I mean, it's not basically, it is a system. It's a legit trading system that's been around for forever, that absolutely works, full stop. When you learn a system and you see a real system, because how many people have systems right now to trade? Do you have a system? Like you probably don't have a system. Not many people
have something better than a system.
I'm just saying.
No, I have something better than a system.
What? You're a TA guy.
I have vibes.
So vibes is amazing. But like when you see what a real system looks like, you're like, oh shit. Like this is very different than what I was doing. And then it's just one more thing that's like, oh, you mean I have to have a beginning, middle, and an end? And by the way, it's all planned out systematically, boom, before I even touch a button. And I already know what my profit's going to be before the freaking thing happens. And I already have orders resting. Like, this is how it works. It's like, really? Like, it's crazy. But yeah.
No, and that type of systemic momentum is actually what builds consistency. So, all right, yeah, makes sense. April 23rd.
Apple, I think 260 call calendar. I love it. Do you know what that is?
Okay, last one, UNH. Someone was asking for that.
She's doing much better, dude. So when does she report? April 21st. Look, I think hold your ground. What was the change on the thing that made this guy fly not that long ago?
The CMS rates.
CMS rates. I'm not an expert there. I think you would probably want to call Chris. This is, it probably can take a few years, but that was my sentiment on UNH from day one, was like, you can try. And I think this is like exactly that across the board. This has been going sideways for what? A year. And I think when everybody was asking about UNH, I was like, look, I'm not super into it, but if you like it, just don't expect it to explode tomorrow, and be prepared for a long ride. I think this is the long ride. So it's very likely closer to the end. At this point, it doesn't have to end, but it's got a ways to go. So on dips, I think this is probably fine. That plus you need to pay a lot of attention to the like government approvals and things like that for Medicare, how that's gonna affect their business, which is essentially what we talked about. But yeah, 250 is a tradable low. As long as it's in between 250 and 300, I think that's a perfectly fine zone to accumulate shares on for an investment. I wouldn't trade this and expect it to explode in your face. It's not that kind of stock, typically.
All right, that is it for us. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Jason's Twitter in the chat. I'm also putting a Zoom link for register in the description and the chat. And that is going to be it. That is going to be it for today. Takeaway from today is essentially, don't know if we're definitely moving up, but it seems like the lows are probably.
Yeah, takeaway from the day is there's a freaking raging bull market. If you know where to look. And a lot of things are at the highs that, if we squeeze higher, it is a squeeze. We're in an active short squeeze that doesn't have to stop. It's a little high risk, but there are still a lot of options that have not even started yet. And if those start, how does the market not continue? That's the question.
And if we get this deal done, that could definitely.
Yeah. Really, I think if we don't get this deal done, they still buy the dip.
Yeah.
That's what we found out, right? And the oil stuff is not going to matter unless we're over 6 months. Unless we're 6 months or longer, over $80 a barrel, which even at that point, like, is it really going to affect us? I don't know. But for right now, this month, the next 2 weeks, give or take, we should be in the clear. We just have to get through. It's all looking forward to big earnings week. And then, okay, fine. then we'll stop and think about this for a second. But for right now, the market's looking forward to earnings, as it should.
All right. I love it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
I
Jamie,
love your hair, by the way, too. His new hairdo. I still haven't said anything, but much better.
I'm still working on it. Still trying to figure out exactly what I want, but it does feel better. All right.
Yeah. Robinhood Social is coming, guys. Make sure you sub to him. It's whatever it's called.
Dude, whatever's happening to make this thing go up, let's just hope it keeps happening. 83 almost after.
Oh my God.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the market open tomorrow. All right, everybody. Have a good one.